Hello, everybody. Welcome to College of Lore. My name's Kate.
And I'm Jill.
And today we're going to play a board game called Twilight Imperium. We have some guests with us as well. We have Corinne, my friend Corinne.
Hello.
Say hi, Corinne. And we have Neil. You all know and love Neil. And he's with us. He's with us here as well. So, Twilight Imperium is an amazing board game, and I know that normally we provide role-playing game content to you. So you might be a little bit confused as to why we're playing a board game. So the answer is we can do whatever we want. It's our channel, but also we're going to. Get out of here if you don't like it. We're going to...
You're not the boss of me.
Yeah, you aren't. We are going to be running an RPG in the Twilight Imperium universe soon. Neil and I love Twilight Imperium and the universe, and we play it all the time. Jill has never played before. Corinne has played a few times. So, yeah, I thought it was important to at least show Jill how to play the game. And have a look at some of the factions and start digging into the lore of this setting to help sort of put things in context for her for when we play that role-playing game. But also it's my favorite board game, so I'm kind of hoping that Jill will enjoy it. But if she doesn't enjoy it, then at least we will just know that she doesn't enjoy it, and that will be a thing that we've discovered that we can't do together. Sad face.
Oh no, we'll just have to do everything else together instead.
We must do all the things. Our interests must overlap 100%. So I'm in the Tabletop Simulator mod for Twilight Imperium, which is an excellent TTS mod created by a community of great devs who love this game. And it's been amazing because this is a very long board game. It could take 6+ hours. I would actually say if you finished it in 6 hours that's quite impressive. So it's a huge time commitment, but if you play on TTS, you can do what's called a split session and just kind of stop playing whenever you feel like you've had enough and just save this. You don't have to leave it on your living room table for 2 weeks. Yeah, and then just pick it back up whenever you want. So we'll jump into it, I guess, unless you guys have anything you want to say or ask. No? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hi, Kiwi.
Hi, Kiwi! Ooh, yes. It does look so fancy, right? It's like a huge game. Okay, so the basic gist of where we are right now, this is the galaxy as we know it, right? You've got this lovely Mechatol Rex planet in the very center, and our respective home systems will be placed around the edge of the map. So we will each be playing a different faction. What's going on right now is that things have been fairly quiet in the galaxy for the past... oh, Kevin followed us. Thank you, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi. Nice to see you. Type in the chat. Kevin is Corinne's hubby. Also a good friend of mine. What was I talking about? Oh, yes, things are quiet in the galaxy right now. But several thousand years ago, the entire galaxy was ruled by the Lazaks. But just like any... What?
It was ruled by the Lazaks from Mechatol Rex.
Right. They had this sort of seat of their empire at Mechatol Rex, and that's all the other factions were part of a galactic council, but the Lazaks ruled everything. Until they didn't. So I'm going to read little blurbs about some of the factions before we pick them, and you'll kind of start to piece together what happened there. But, just like any good empire, it didn't last forever. And there was a giant war called the Twilight Wars, followed by some dark years where, everybody needed to sort of pull back and recuperate. And so that's kind of where we are right now. Everybody has pulled back to their own little systems and recuperated and rebuilt. But now things are starting to kind of come together, and people are starting to reach out and explore again, and we are playing 4 different factions who are sort of vying for control of the galaxy, and we are going to do that by gathering victory points.
Victory points.
So we'll get into all of that in a second, but I just want us to pick our factions first. So we're going to let Jill pick first. And like I said, we're going to just pick from 6 of these sort of base core factions. There's actually 24 different factions in the game at this point, but these factions are sort of standard, good for beginner players because they're not too complicated. So Jill.
Okay.
The first faction that you can choose from is called the Emirates of Hakan, and you can actually have a look at, as I'm going through these, if you look at your little player mat right in front of you, do you see how there's this like little picture here of the Emirates of Hakan? It's like down a little bit more.
I also don't quite know how to use
Tabletop Simulator.
Tabletop
Do you see
Simulator.
my
Okay,
little
there.
mouse?
Yes.
So if you click on this little cat picture, click on it. Boom. Okay. So
Why'd you show me the cat people first? You know I'm going to pick the cat people.
you know why I showed you the cat people first. So these are the Emirates of Hakan. They are space cats, or lions, if you will, whose home system consists of 3 desert planets, which are a hotspot for galactic trade. So the planets are surrounded by these vast cities of space stations that support trade, and the Hakan themselves are masters of trade. So they send these guild ships that they have throughout the entire galaxy, which allows them to trade with any faction, not just their neighbors or people who are near to them, which is the standard. In addition, their home system produces commodities that are highly valuable, so when they do trade with people, they have lots to offer when trading. In the game, this means that they have a lot of commodities and they can trade action cards. You don't really need to worry about that just yet, but basically they are the space kitties, and they're really, really good at trade, and they're going to become, pretty rich, generally speaking.
Okay.
So if you click back down at the bottom, you can find the Barony of Letnev. Letnev is what it's called right here. This is the second faction. So the Barony of Letnev home system consists of a polluted and cold planet surface and subterranean cities. The Letnev are proud and fierce, and they have formed an elitist military culture. What their home system lacks in natural food resources, they have made up for in military might. They produce abnormally large fleets of ships and are well known for their part in igniting the Twilight Wars all those generations ago, which led to the downfall of the Lazax Empire, as I was talking about.
So you're telling me they're just really hangry?
Yeah, kind of. That's maybe a really good explanation for what's going on.
Okay.
All right, so if you go back again, you can find the Federation of Soul. It probably just says Soul. Here they are.
Okay. I can totally relate to being hangry. So let's see what
Yeah,
else
for
we
sure.
got.
Okay, so the Federation of Soul, I wrote us, but in the future. So these are humans, basically. I wrote a little blurb. So similar to many representations of humans in sci-fi, humans are extremely diverse and have explored the galaxy extensively, so they can be found almost anywhere in the galaxy. Their home system is called Jord, but it's basically Earth. And the Federation of Soul fired the first shots of the Twilight Wars, so to speak, firing on the Letnev blockade of the Quan wormhole. This faction, other than being humans and fairly familiar, what you should know about them is that they have a very strong and versatile infantry. So their infantry are going to be a little bit stronger than most. Okay, ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Xcha. They are... Where's Xcha? No, I'm not zoomed in. Oh, did you find them? Perfect. All right.
Are they like turtle
Yeah,
people?
they are. So the Xcha are a reptilian faction known to be the first of the great interstellar civilizations. They were a completely peaceful diplomatic faction until the Barony of Letnev in the years leading up to the Twilight Wars took possession of one of the 2 planets in their home system. Eventually, the Federation of Sol aided in the liberation of the planet, but the warfare that had happened there has all but destroyed the planet. The Extras still desire peace and diplomacy first and foremost, but they now understand the importance of a military presence and have developed their defenses accordingly. So this will be a very strong political faction. That agenda phase that I was talking to you about, that's where they shine, and they can also sort of peacefully take over planets that are near them.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
It is pretty good. All right, let's go find the Jolnar. I'm going to just maybe zoom in a little bit here so that the stream can see, and maybe turn around so click on Jolnar. Where are the Jolnar? Oh, they're over there. There we go. The Universities of Jolnar. So the Jolnar are an aquatic faction that specializes in technology and science. So they're naturally weak in combat, but they more than make up for this deficiency with their technological brilliance. Before the Twilight Wars, the galaxy ran on Jolnar technology, but once the war began and the Jolnar stopped supporting the galaxy in this way, fundamental machinery and infrastructure began to degrade and break down, leading to the vast dark years that have sort of separated that time from where we are now. So they are going to be very tech heavy. So you can see down here their starting technology. They have 4 different starting technologies, which most factions have like 1 or 2. And then all of their abilities, except for the fragile ability, have to do with like getting better technology. So there's like a little deck of technology cards that everybody has to develop, but Jolnar is like especially good at getting that tech. All right, the last one is called the Sardak Nor. They're right up here.
Oh, right.
So, yes, the Sardak is an insectile faction whose home system is almost as inhospitable as the Letnevs. The Sardak, also similarly to the Letnev, are strong in combat, mostly due to the grueling conditions of their training. Only the strong survive to become warriors. They rely on their natural strength and are relatively low tech. So if you look at the starting tech for Sardak Nor, they have no starting tech. Now, they can research technology just like everybody else can. It's just that they don't have as much to begin with. Yeah, those are the 6 sort of starting factions. Do any of them speak to you in particular?
I might go with the Extra.
Okay, sure. That sounds good.
They sounded kind of like they appeal to my peaceful nature.
Sure. Okay, that sounds good. So now that you've got them selected here, you can click this unpack button, and it's going to unpack all of the things that you need, and we will get back to this in just a second. But first, we're going to let Corinne and Neil choose their factions. Do you guys want to roll off to see who picks first?
I'm fine with Neil picking first.
No,
That's
I was
fine.
just going to say you go ahead.
Do you guys want to roll off to see who gets to be the best Canadian and let the other person go?
Yeah. You can stand up.
All right.
Sorry, are you going to roll off? Where's the little, like,
There's
multi-rollers?
a dice roller, yeah.
Oh, here's one.
I don't know.
I see it. I'm going to put it between you. Here you go. Each of you click in the middle of that. Okay, Neil got an 8.
It's Neil.
Okay.
Okay.
So Neil.
I will pick. Yep.
Oh, sorry. I'm just looking at messages. Jill is extra. Kevin says, I guess she wins.
Yay, I did it! Boy, this was a fast game.
Woo!
I don't know
All
why
right,
this would
that's
take
it.
6 hours.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to pick the Emirates of Hakan.
Okay. Corinne, who would you like?
I think this time I'm gonna have to go with the Jolnar.
Nice.
If I can find them again.
The
There it
hangry?
is.
No, those are the technology buds, the fishies.
Oh.
All right, and I am not picking any of those factions. Ha ha ha. I am picking
Genius.
I
the.
feel deceived. Flip table.
It's not like you told me about this before the stream started. I'm going to be playing as the Winnu, and I'll tell you the actual reason for that in a second, but the Winnu are a faction that were saved by the Lazaks, and they served under them during their empire. as a result of the close relationship they had with the Lazaks, the Winnu believed themselves to be the rightful heirs to the empire. A portion of the Winnu population remained on Mechatol Rex as custodians, and the blood ties that exist between those custodians and their kin from Winnu afford an upper hand to the Winnu in retaking the seat of the throne. So the actual reason that I'm taking them is because, as we'll see, there's sort of a phase of this game that doesn't happen until one of us takes control of Mechatol Rex. And we may only be able to get one or two, if we're really lucky, rounds of the game before we end tonight. So I really wanted a faction that I could get to Mechatol on round one. And so that's why I've picked the Winnu, because they actually have an easier time of taking Mechatol Rex than others. Alright, so before we get started, I'm going to have you look at your faction sheet, which is the thing that's sort of right in front of you. I'm just going to point out a few things to you, and then we'll start kind of going through the motions of a round, okay? Mm-hmm. So, first thing that you see here in the center is just like a little description of your faction abilities. So the X-Jaw have this ability called Peace Accords. That's going to allow you to peacefully take over planets, as I was explaining. And your Quash ability is something that happens in the agenda phase. You've also got a section here called Commodities that says 4. So commodities, everybody has a commodities value. These are sort of trade goods or trade materials that you produce in your home system that aren't very useful to you, but that are valuable to other factions. So we can trade commodities with one another, and when we trade commodities with somebody else, their commodities turn into trade goods for us, so they'll go down here. And trade goods can be spent kind of pretty much as anything. So there's going to be like times when you need to spend resources and times when you need to spend influence, but trade goods can be spent as either of those things. So they're nice and versatile and good to have. You can also see a description of each of the different types of ships that you might acquire on this board. So right here you see there's a cruiser, there's a destroyer, there's a fighter. Yes, exactly. So I'm gonna tell you how to like read one of these little sections. So let's look at the cruiser. Cost over here is how many resources you need to spend to build one of those units. So you could spend resources from planets, or you could spend your trade goods, like I said. So this one costs 2. It's fairly cheap. Combat is how good it is at fighting. Cruisers are pretty good at fighting. The number is what you need to roll equal to or higher than on a D10 to hit. So if you roll a 7, 8, 9, or a 10 with a cruiser, it hits. Move is how many systems this ship can move in one activation. So this one is pretty fast. It can move 2 spaces instead of just 1, which is what most other things can move. And then the last...
With a space equaling 1 hex on the map.
Yep. Exactly.
So a whole big hex?
Yes, exactly.
Holy moly, okay.
So yeah, like these ships of yours in your home system are kind of in range of both of these 2 planets. And if you wanted to move them from here to this perimeter planet, that would be like a movement of 1. Okay. So the cruisers can do that, but the cruisers could also get to this 3-planet system if they wanted to, which is like 2 tiles away. Then there's a capacity for some units. So this version of the cruiser doesn't have a capacity, but you can see that it's here because when you upgrade this unit, it will have capacity. So if we just look down at the carrier or the dreadnought, you can see the carrier has a capacity of 4, the dreadnought has a capacity of 1, and that just indicates how many units that it can carry on it. And there's 2 kinds of units, actually there's 3 kinds of units now that you'll be carrying. One of them is a fighter. So this little ship here, fighter, needs to be like attached and carried by a different ship. It can't just exist on its own. And infantry, they end up on planets, and you can leave them there if you want, but if you're going to move an infantry from one planet to another, it needs to be done in a ship that has capacity. Over here on the very left, you can see this little mech card. So mechs are a part of the new expansion, and they are a type of ground force, and they also have to be carried by ships that have capacity. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to tell you right now about these different ships. We'll get into like the details of combat later on, but it is good to know just sort of like the lower the number for combat value, the better that ship is at hitting something. Oh, and you also do not currently have a War Sun, but you can get War Sun technology by researching it from your technology. Any questions about that so far?
No, that all made sense to me.
Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna get...
Hang on a second.
Oh, sure.
I've accidentally quit Tabletop Simulator somehow.
Oh, no.
Disconnected, yeah.
Just
Okay.
1 second. I shall be back.
Can you promote me?
You can actually promote yourself in this mod now.
I can't until you until you activate it.
Did I do it?
I've already tried.
Toggle promoted. Did you do it? Okay. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jill.
that worked.
Being
Okay, thank you.
promoted just allows you to like do certain things like copying and pasting and deleting and stuff. So I can actually just promote you myself. Now you can do all that stuff.
All right, I have stopped being silly.
All right, cool. So yeah, I kind of basically just explained this center thing. We're not going to talk about these cards over here just yet. We'll talk about them later. They're your leaders, but I'll explain them later. Okay, so now we're going to look over on the right side of your board. You've got all these little command tokens in different parts of this sheet. So I already explained that this little section will be for your trade goods when you get them. But you have 3 different ways that you can use these command counters. And where they are placed determines how they're being used. So these 3 up at the top are in your tactics pool. Tactics tokens are what you're going to use to do stuff on the board. So you will take tokens from here and place them on the board to move to a new system and explore there, or to activate a system that has one of your space docks in it so that you can build more units, for example. Anytime that you want to do something on the board, you're going to take one of these tactics tokens and place it in the system where you want to do stuff, basically. So currently, for this round, you're going to be able to do that 3 times. You'll be able to do 3 things on the board. The next little area is your fleet pool. These tokens, by the way, are just double-sided. They're all the same. But when a token is in your fleet pool, you change it to the ship side just so that you know that this is like where it's supposed to be. This fleet pool tells you how many non-fighter ships you can have in any given hex. So right now, your maximum is 3. You can see in your home system, that's exactly what you have. You've got a carrier and 2 cruisers. And these 3 fighters don't count because they are fighters, so they are not non-fighters. These little infantry also don't count, but you can place them on either of the planets at this point if you want to. Yeah, so when you place a new token in here, that will sort of expand the number of ships that you can have in any given system, so that when you're moving ships around or when you're producing new ships, you can put more units in the same sort of hex. This last little section is called your strategy pool. These tokens you're going to use to do the secondary abilities of strategy cards, which you don't know anything about yet. But the first phase of each round involves choosing strategy cards. And then we're each going to be picking 2. They are up here. I don't know if you can see this like nice little rainbow of cards. I can ping up here.
Yep.
You see them?
Very lovely.
Yes. So there's 8 of them. They all do a different thing. When you choose a strategy card, you'll place it in your play area, and then on your turn you'll be able to do what's called the primary ability, which is always listed at the top of the card. And then there will be a secondary ability that everybody else will get the chance to do. And a lot of those secondary abilities require you to spend these strategy tokens to do them. So if you read the politics strategy card, for example, it says secondary ability, spend 1 token from your strategy pool to draw 2 action cards. So if you wanted to do that, you'd have to have a token in your strategy pool to spend. You'd spend it and you'd get to draw 2 action cards. Okay. I think that's a pretty good setup. I've sort of explained most of what's over here. Oh, I guess I should kind of talk about your tech and your planets as well. So you start with this technology called Graviton Laser System. Jill, I don't know if you know about this, but if you hover over any card and you press Alt, it will make it bigger so that you can read it.
Oh.
So you're not going to really understand this right now, but this technology allows you to exhaust it. Anytime something says to exhaust, it just means flip it over for the rest of the round.
How do you flip something over?
Oh, you press the F button. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can only use it once per round, basically. Once you flip it over, you can't use it anymore. And any of your units that use space cannon, which you will probably have a lot of, are going to be producing hits against your enemy. And if you flip this card over, they'll have to assign those hits to non-fighter ships of theirs, which is useful because that's kind of the purpose of fighters. People bring them around to soak up hits. So if you say, no, you can't use your fighters, then it kind of kills their bigger important ships. Okay, and so let's have a look at, I'm going to pick a different planet. Let's pick this planet card. So those 2 planet cards are from your home system. So those are the 2 planets that you currently control. And there's 2 little numbers on each planet, right? There's a yellow number and a blue number. The yellow number is the number of resources that planet has. And the blue number is the number of influence that planet has. So remember before when I said that it costs 2 resources to build a cruiser?
Yes.
So one of the ways that you could spend those 2 resources is by exhausting Archon Ren, because it is worth 2 resources. But what you've done is you've made it so that you won't be able to use that planet for its influence value. So every round you're going to kind of need to choose for each planet, am I going to use it for its resources or am I going to use it for its influence? These home system planets are a little bit simpler than other planets. So other planets, as you can see, like this planet here, Sayaldri, not really sure how to say that. It has a little symbol over here to the right of its name. It's like a blue swoosh. Mm-hmm. That indicates the type of planet that it is. So this blue symbol is a cultural planet. There's also some planets around on the board that have a little red triangle symbol. Those are hazardous planets. And then there's some that have like a green circle. Those are industrial planets. Those will become relevant for like text on cards and objectives and things like that. And then the last thing that you need to know about certain planets is that some of them have tech specialties. So Sayaldri has this little yellow symbol right here. You can see that matches this yellow symbol that's on your tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way that technology works, I'm going to search through your little tech deck. Sorry, didn't mean to do that, Pin. I'm just going to pull some of your techs out for a second. Let's take out this tech and this tech and this tech. All right. So these are all options that you have for tech upgrades. But you can see some technologies are just going to look like this. They don't have anything in the bottom left corner, so you can tell that this is a yellow tech because it's got the yellow tech symbol over here on the right. And it doesn't have any prerequisites. So you could just get this no matter what other technology you have. But transit diodes, not only is it a yellow tech, but it has a prerequisite of 2 other yellow technologies. So you can't get transit diodes unless you have 2 other yellow technologies. So maybe if you want transit diodes, you'll get scan-link drone network first, and that way you would have these two. Or if you had this planet, you could exhaust it to use it as a tech prerequisite, and in that way you would have two, and you could get your transit diodes.
Okay.
Okay, this Cruiser 2 is a little bit different. It's a unit upgrade instead of just a normal tech. So it doesn't have a color associated with it, but it does have prerequisites. So to get Cruiser 2, you need to have a red, a yellow, and a green tech prerequisite before you can research this technology. So these prerequisites could be planet prerequisites as well. But that's what the tech specialties on the planets are used for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put these back in your deck.
But it's important to point out that if you are using a planet for its tech specialty, you don't get to use it for its resources or its influence.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
one of the three.
You're only using every
I remember
planet
you mentioned.
for one thing, right? So like either resources, influence, or its tech specialty. So, but after every round, we're going to refresh everything that we've used.
Okay.
And so every round you can choose whether you're going to use this Archon Ren, whether you're going to use it for your 2 resources or 3 influence, and you'll get to use it every single round. So that's really the power in controlling planets, is that's going to give you lots of resources and influence, and you have that available to you for as long as you control those planets. All right. So the first step of every... I wonder if I can pull this little command sheet out for you. I want to unlock this. Oh, geez. Unlock this. What have I done?
I don't know.
Why did this little token fall through the thing? You stay here.
Just say the word and I'll panic.
Panic! Oh, God. All right. There we go. Lock. Okay, so if you can see, if you hit Alt while you're hovering over this, there's like a giant bullet point list that tells you all the different phases of the turn and the different things that happen in each of those phases. So before this turn phase stuff happens, we have to do what's called the strategy phase, and we're back up to these strategy cards up here. So, first we need to figure out who the speaker is. So why don't we all roll on this little quick roller? You just hit R.
Do I just click it?
Oh, no, yeah, you just
Oh.
click it. Never mind, not R. Don't listen to me. Let's see who's going to be the speaker. I got 8. Corinne got 1.
Corinne's not rolling well today, guys.
Oh. Jill got 7.
Was this a D10?
It is. Yeah,
Oh.
everything is D10s. Ooh, Neil. Look at you. So Neil is the speaker. And that means that now, in the strategy phase, he gets to be the first one to choose one of these strategy cards. We haven't even done secret objectives. First, we need to do secret objectives. Something that I was thinking of. So normally, in a game, we would start by dealing out 2 secret objectives to each person, and then you would read them both and then discard one of them. If you want, we can do that, but given that you don't know everything about the game yet, they might be hard to understand. So I was thinking we could just, to speed things up, randomly deal one to everybody and you get that one, whether it's good or bad.
That's fine by me.
Works for me.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just going to deal to all seated players. So this is a secret objective that you have. During once it comes time to score objectives, you'll be able to score this. It's important because nobody knows what it is, so do not tell. Oh, and perfect. I placed the videos on the stream so that people can't see what my secret objective is, so they can't cheat and tell you guys. So yeah, these are secret. Nobody knows that you have this, but you can score a point by fulfilling that. We're also going to have public objectives. So they become revealed slowly over time, but we're going to start the game with 2 of them visible. So I'm going to flip those over right now because it makes, the whole point of the game is getting these objectives and fulfilling them. So you're going to choose your strategy cards and do everything in this round based on your best chance at getting one of these public objectives. Okay, so the first public objective is called Engineer a Marvel, and it says have your flagship or a war sun on the board. So your flagship is one of your units. It's at the top left of your sheet. You can see that they cost 8 resources to place on the board. They're extremely expensive, so this is kind of not the best objective at the beginning of the game, but it's not something to work towards. The second objective is called Erect a Monument, and all you need to do for that is spend 8 resources. So you just need to save up 8 resources and spend them at the time when we're scoring objectives, and you'll get a point. So Neil, you get to pick a strategy card first. Now that we know our secret objectives and our public objectives, you can go ahead and pick. Something else that I'll mention now, Jill, I said we need to have the most victory points to win. The person who gets to 10 victory points first will win the game as soon as they get to 10 victory points. If we finish 10 rounds, is it 10 rounds that the game ends after? If nobody wins?
Yes.
Yeah, if we get through 10 rounds of the game and nobody has won, then whoever has the most points wins, but that never happens. Usually we get 5 or 6 rounds. Okay, so Neil chose to take the trade strategy card, which is going to allow him to get 3 trade goods. He'll replenish his own commodities, and then each of us will get the chance to replenish our commodities either for free if he lets us or by spending a strategy token. And then it would go to Corinne to choose the next strategy card. So you can, do you want us to go over them again, Corinne, or are you cool picking?
No, I think I'm good. I just need to read them again.
Yeah. I might go through them really quick then while you're looking.
Sure.
So the ones that are left are called Leadership. If you take this one, you'll gain 3 command tokens and distribute them on your little playmat as you like. But you can gain more than 3 command tokens. If you spend influence to buy more, it costs 3 influence per command token that you want to buy. And then everybody, as a secondary ability, gets to do the influence part of it. So they'll get to spend 3 influence to buy command tokens. The next one is called Diplomacy. When you do the primary of Diplomacy, then you're going to choose a system that contains a planet that you control. Everybody else is going to take a command token from their reinforcements, and they're going to place it in that system. That's going to be important because you can't activate a system that already has one of your command tokens in it, so it sort of blocks everybody from activating that system. After you do that, you can ready up to 2 exhausted planets that you control, so it is a way of letting you sort of reuse planets that you've already used that turn. The second...
X-Cha also has a specific ability linked to the Diplomacy card.
So that's the primary. I'm going to explain that in a second. That's the primary. The secondary is you spend a token from your strategy pool to exhaust, or to ready 2 exhausted planets. So everybody gets to sort of reuse 2 planets. And then Jill, X-Cha cares a lot about Diplomacy because they get to do all of that stuff, but their faction ability, the Peace Accords one, it says after you resolve the primary or secondary ability of Diplomacy, you can gain control of 1 planet other than Mechatol Rex that doesn't contain any units and is in a system that's adjacent to a planet that you control. So this Diplomacy card is the way that you do your peaceful takeover of systems. Okay, politics is the next one. When you do the primary, you're going to choose somebody who isn't already the speaker, and they become the speaker. Usually that's going to be you, but you can sell this to somebody else if you want to. You can take bribes to be nominated as the speaker. You're also going to draw 2 action cards. We don't have any action cards yet, but this card allows us to draw them, and you'll get an action card at the end of every round as well. They all do individual little things that are explained on the cards. And then you're going to look at the top 2 cards of the agenda deck, and you can place them back in any order you wish, either on the top or the bottom of the deck. The agenda cards are what we're going to resolve in that agenda phase that I mentioned that I'm trying to get us to tonight. Construction is the only way that you can build PDS or space docks. So the primary ability says you can place 1 PDS or 1 space dock on a planet you control, and then you can also place 1 PDS on a planet you control. Space docks are going to be the way that you produce new units, and PDS are sort of defensive structure that goes down onto a planet. Jill, you might be interested in building those because your graviton laser system tech applies to those PDS. That's what that technology makes more powerful.
So I need to pick one of these.
Yeah.
For now, do we pick another one later?
We're each gonna pick 2. Yeah. So I would actually say,
like, I should take diplomacy.
yeah, so you could take diplomacy if you wanted to. That wouldn't be a bad idea. But if somebody else takes it, you do get to do your thing still, because it happens if you do the primary or the secondary. But yeah, that's not a bad choice.
But it does cost a strategy token.
Yeah, it costs a strategy. You're right. It costs a strategy token if you're not doing the primary, so diplomacy might be a good idea. I'll go over these other 3 really quick. Warfare is going to let you take one of your command tokens off the board, which is useful because you can then use everything that's in that system again. Technology is going to allow you to research new technologies from that deck that I mentioned. And Imperial allows you to score a public objective if you fulfill its requirements. And it will allow you to draw another secret objective. Or if you control Mechatol Rex, it just allows you to score a victory point for controlling Mechatol Rex. But yeah, the first part of this, scoring a public objective, is important because usually the only time you can score a public objective is once at the end of the round. Whereas, yeah, this one will allow you to score 2. But it's not useful in the first few rounds of the game because you probably can't score more than 1 public objective anyways. So for Jill, yeah, I don't think diplomacy is a bad idea. I don't think politics is necessarily a bad idea. Construction might be good. You can get some PDS out there as well. Yeah.
Another thing to consider that in a 4-player game or an 8-player game, all 8 strategy cards are going to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have 2 yourself that you can do the primary of, and then depending on how many strategy tokens you have to spend, you can do any of the secondaries that you want as well.
Okay. If you want to, are you figuring out how to turn it? There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
It's Q and E.
Yeah, you can, while you're hovering over it, press Q and E and it will shift it around. Or if you've got it like lifted, you can use the scroll wheel on your mouse. All right, so I'm actually going to take Warfare because this is part of my strategy to get to Mechatol Rex immediately.
Okay, so it's back around to me.
Yes.
Gee, I don't know if I should let you take Imperial because you're going to get to Mechatol Rex first turn.
Yeah. Oh, who was that? I was going to say 6 or 7 agrees. Do I need antidotes? I'm going to use...
7's got an ear for strategy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I think I'll take technology.
Okay. So now Corinne gets to pick a second one. And we have so much space on our table with only 4 players.
So much room for activities.
Yeah, I'd say it's either diplomacy or politics here. You probably don't want Imperial.
Yeah.
Unless somebody really does want to block me from getting... Because I will... You guys know that my plan is to go to Mechatol Rex. So that's... You get a point for landing on Mechatol Rex, first of all. And then I would get another point from taking Imperial, so...
Yeah, I don't think it's worth blocking you at this point.
Okay. Thanks, friends. Whoa, Jill. So spinny. Alright, so I'll grab Imperial.
Makes me look like a profesh.
Alright, cool. So we are ready to start the action phase. I'm going to set turns. Click to confirm. Thank you. Okay. So, something that I didn't quite explain when we were talking about these strategy cards is that they determine the initiative or play order during the round. So, because Corinne took the lowest numbered strategy card, she's going to get to go first. And then you can see, Jill, you're second because you have number 2. And then it goes to Neil because he has number 5, which is the lowest number that hasn't been chosen by somebody else who's already in the initiative order. And then I have the highest numbered one, so I go last. But luckily, Tabletop Simulator makes this really easy for you to remember. Alright, so first thing before we get started, we need to clean up our home systems a little bit. I can see that Neil already cleaned up his home system. You've got a little space dock. You're going to want to put that near one of the 2 planets in your home system because it hovers near one of your planets. Your space dock is, like I said, what you're going to use to produce new units, and the number of units that it can produce is equal to 2 plus the resource value of the planet that you stick it on. So you're going to want to put it on whichever of your home system planets has the most resources, which is the yellow number. So you can just stick it there. And then, Jill, you also have a little PDS here. You also need to place that on a specific planet. Whichever one is your favorite is where you should put it. It serves as a form of protection for that planet. Then, if you want to, you can place your infantry on the planet. I think that that's where infantry go, so that's where I put mine. But right now, if they're not on the planet, they can't protect the planet. But it's not like anybody's going to go take your home system right now, so don't need to really worry about it that much.
Right now.
Not right now. Ooh, another huge, huge important thing is that your home system is your home. And it's important and you love it. And you cannot score public objectives if you don't control all of the planets in your home system. So we're not going to do this kind of thing to each other because we're all friends and we're very civil. But if somebody, theoretically, were to attack your home system and take one of the planets, you wouldn't be able to score points until you took it back. Which is terrible. Don't forget. Okay, so your ships don't have to go on planets though, Jill, because they're just like...
Okay, I don't know what ones are ships
Yep.
and what ones aren't. The
So-
big ones are ships?
Correct. Yep. And if you hover over it, it tells you what it is. So the cruisers are a type of ship, the carrier is a type of ship, and then these little fighters are also ships, so they can fly around. They don't have to be on the planet. Kevin says, Kate is definitely not going to occupy undefended home planets.
Never.
Nope. Okay, so I'm going to give a brief run through of what one turn in this round is going to look like. So Corinne's about to go. She gets to do a thing. What could she do? She could do a strategic action if she wants to, and that would be using one of the 2 strategy cards that she picked during the last phase. And then you do the primary ability, and then everybody else gets to do the secondary ability. You're going to have to do both of those strategic actions at some point during this round. You can't pass unless you've done both of them. But you don't have to do them right away. You can do these things in any order. So that's one of the options. Another option is that you can do a tactical action. So remember I pointed out these 3 tactics tokens on your sheet that are meant for tactical actions? That's what they're for. So if you want to do a tactical action, you're going to take one of the tokens from there and place it on the board. And when somebody goes to do that, I'll talk more about it. Corinne, are you planning to do a tactical action or are you going to do a strategic action?
I was thinking about doing a strategic action first.
Okay. So, which one are you going to do?
That's what I'm deciding.
Okay.
Kind of want to just do leadership first.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I don't remember what version of this app we played on before, but you can actually flip that over with the F key, and there's a little play button. If you click that,
Ooh, that's a very small button.
yeah, a little menu will pop up for everybody. Okay. So this indicates that Corinne is doing leadership. What that means is that she's going to get 3 command tokens automatically. Are you going to buy any additional command tokens, Corinne?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So everybody else gets the choice to do the secondary. The secondary for leadership is to spend 3 influence to buy command counters. 3 influence per command counter. It's generally not something that usually happens in the first round because we don't have a whole lot of like extra influence. But just so you know, Jill, your Archon Ren does have 3 influence on it, so technically you could exhaust this to buy another token. I just wouldn't recommend it because you have lots of tokens already. It's the beginning of the game and you probably need the resources at some point.
I just pull them out of this little bag, right?
Yeah, there's a little bag in the middle of your tactics sheet, and if you drag them out, there you go. So we can just watch Corinne. She's got these 3, and she's going to place them wherever she wants on this sheet. So you can put them into tactics, into fleet, or into strategy.
Yeah.
There ends up being really useful to have lots of strategy tokens in a 4-player game because all of these strategy cards get played.
I think that's accurate.
Oh, hey, Blackoff. Thank you for following. Nice to see you. Right, so because I don't want to do this, I'm going to click on the red pass button in that menu that just showed up, and then I'm going to say close menu. Neil also did the same thing. Jill, do you...
Should I see the menu?
You should. You should see a little menu up at like the top right-ish of your screen that says leadership. If you don't, then don't worry about it. You may have just closed it accidentally.
I didn't touch anything.
Okay, don't worry about it. If it never shows up, then we'll have to figure out what's going on. But I bet that there's just like an error.
There's a little thing in the bottom right that has like a don't touch this button.
No,
Is
that's
that quit.
No, that's I don't know what that is actually, but it edit note. Yeah, I don't know. Don't touch that. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does. Okay, so that was Corinne's turn. Now it's your turn, Jill. So
Okay.
you can choose.
Can I
do you want?
occupy a planet?
Yeah, you want to do like a tactical action?
Okay.
Okay. So which planet do you want to go to?
I want to go to Zanhacked.
Okay, so you can go to this whole system, and I think that it's a good choice for that reason because if you go here, you get 2 planets, whereas if you go here, you only get 1. Here, you only get 1. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take one of your tactics tokens from your little board and bring it on up here, drop it on this tile. Boom. And it says that you've activated that system. So this is the place, this is your destination, this is where you want to be doing stuff. So that's the tile that you activate. Then we're going to move these little cards off because you're going to grab those eventually. Then we're going to follow this little bulleted list, right? So, activation, that's what you just did. Okay. Next step is movement. So you're going to move ships. You can move any ship from any systems that can reach here. So you only have ships in one system right now, so obviously you're going to be moving all of your ships from here. But for example, if you had a cruiser over here, You could move this carrier from here and this cruiser over to here, as long as you never have more than 3 ships in the system, because that's your current fleet capacity. So, to take these 2 planets, you need to put down at least 1 infantry on each of them. So you're going to need to bring at least 2 infantry with you. And do you remember about capacity?
So I need to use my carrier because that one has 4. Was it 4?
Yeah. Yep. So you can move your carrier over if you want, and then I would say move at least 2 infantry and plop them down on the little planets. And then, if you want, you can bring some of those fighters with you as well, because remember the carrier can bring up to 4 things, and so if you bring some fighters with you, they might like help protect you in the future or whatever. Oh, jeez, don't just chuck in your fighters. Now, if you want as well, you could bring one of the cruisers with you, or you can leave them at home. It's up to you.
What's a cruiser? Is that a fighting thing?
Yeah.
I guess.
Sure. Okay. So you have finished activating the system. There's some steps actually that are not included on here from the expansion. I'm pretty sure that at this point is when you would be exploring these planets. So you're moving in. There's nobody else here, so we don't need to do any combat stuff. But we would do that first if there was somebody else here. This would be when you fight. Okay. But right now you're just going to explore. So you're going to right click on that tile, and you should see a bunch of stuff, including Explore Saldry and Explore Zanhacht. Perfect. Okay, so you just explored Zanhacht, and it says volatile fuel source. If you have at least 1 mech on this planet, or if you remove 1 infantry from this planet, you can gain 1 command token. So you do get to choose to do this or not. But basically, if you get rid of that infantry that you placed there, you'll still gain control of the planet, but you'll also get a command token. The same way that Corinne just did with that leadership card that she played. So, do you want to do that? Command tokens are generally pretty good, and infantry are very cheap to replace. They only cost 1 resource to build 2 infantry. So it's totally up to you, but if you wish to...
So it's just like I would destroy what I just put on there?
Yeah.
What a sin. Is there anybody in it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole platoon.
Yeah, it's like, it's just 10,000 people. It's okay.
But
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, well, you don't have to. You don't have to. All right, so...
I'm a turtle, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
okay.
So you don't want to do this. So this little card will get discarded. I'll show you all the way over here. Boop. We use that one. We're going to discard it. So now let's explore the other planet. By the way, the stuff that requires you to, like, get rid of infantry and stuff, that really only ever happens on those red hazardous planets. Do you see how Zanhacht has that red triangle? Yeah. Okay, so this planet is a cultural planet, and you have found a cultural relic fragment, which is very exciting, Jill, because when you find 3 relic fragments of the same type, you can purge them and draw a relic, which you will then sort of control. And they can do all kinds of weird stuff. So you can grab that little card and pull it into your play area. Cool. Spin it around a bit. And okay, so that's probably it for you. But just to be clear, what we did was we activated, we moved ships in, we skipped over space combat because there was no space combat. We kind of skipped over invasion. We landed ground forces, but we didn't have to do any fighting because nobody was there. And then the last step of every tactical action is called production. But you can only produce in systems that have a space dock. So if there was a space dock here, you'd be able to produce, you'd be able to spend resources to build new ships in the system, but you don't have a space dock here, so you can't. So that, I think, is the end of your turn.
Cool.
So you can click.
Yay, I played a Twilight Imperium.
You did it! All right, so you can click end turn. Oh, and these 2 little planet cards are yours as well because you just took over those. Now they come to you exhausted, which means you can't use them right away for their resource value. I love how you just like spin everything the first time you bring it into your area. Just take it for a spin, see how it works.
Yeah, check it out.
All right, so you should be able to hit end turn. Okay, yeah, you did. And so now it's Neil's turn. Why don't you narrate your turn to us, Neil?
Okay. Just give me a second. I'm going to turn off push to talk so I can utilize my keyboard while speaking.
Okay.
Oh, and if anybody in the Twitch chat wants to tell me what I should do on my next turn, feel free to throw some tips my way.
Give her some tips. If you want, Jill, while Neil's doing that, you can have a look over here at your leaders. Right now, the first one is the only one that's available. He's called your agent. He just gives you a once per turn thing. It says, action, exhaust this card to ready any planet. If that planet is in a system that is adjacent to a planet you control, you may remove 1 infantry from it and return it to its reinforcements.
Aw, see, that doesn't sound like it kills them. Oh, Kiwi says, don't throw out 10,000 people. So far, so good. And Kevin says, Jill, my tip is to attack Kate.
You can't attack me yet, Kevin. I'm too far away.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Neil.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just to demonstrate how it works, I think I'm going to activate trade.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna flip over this card. Now, because Hakan are masters of trade, well, actually they're masters of trade and they utilize guild ships to do that. So the guild ship's ability says that I can negotiate transactions with players who are not my neighbors. So right now, none of you can trade with each other, but I can trade with all of you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the trade card. I'll click play, and then I'm going to flip it back over so that I can read it. So there's 3 bullet points in the primary ability. The first is to gain 3 trade goods. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to come up to this bag of trade goods and then grab 3 of them. There we go. And so this token has a gray side and a yellow side. The yellow side is trade goods. If it's the gray side, it goes over here as commodities. But this is 3 trade goods, so I'll just flip that over. So the second bullet point is to refresh your commodities, or replenish your commodities. So if someone else had played this trade card, one of my abilities is also that I can do this for free. I can automatically replenish my commodities no matter who plays the trade card. And then the next step is to choose any number of other players. Those players use the secondary ability of this strategy card without spending a command token. So what that means is that I can allow each of you to replenish your commodities without you having to spend a strategy token to do it. So what I'm going to do is first to Corinne, I'm going to offer the deal of I will purchase your trade agreement.
Okay.
So your trade agreement.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to explain it, but then we're going to skip over it. So each player has promissory notes, and basically these are assets that you can trade back and forth, and one of them is called a trade agreement. And what that does is, let's say that I have the purple trade agreement. I have Corinne's trade agreement. If I choose to refresh purple's commodities, I get them because I have her trade agreement, and then once that happens, I give it back to her. So,
we could just leave the trade agreement stuff out of it and just do refreshing.
Sure.
If you
Sure.
want. Just because
So
the trade
Corinne,
agreement, like the promissory notes, are a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, Corinne, I will give you 3 of my commodities. I will refresh you and then trade you 3 of my commodities for your 4.
Are you there,
if
Corinne?
you're willing to do that.
Yes, sure. That sounds great. Let's do it.
Okay. So you can go ahead and grab 3 commodities from the
question, Jill?
the bag there.
Yeah. So the trade is that. So
Okay.
what Neil is getting out of the trade is 1 more commodity than he had, but also that he's kind of using that skill.
Yeah, so what's happening here is, okay, so Neil had 3 trade goods, and he had his 6 commodities refreshed.
Right.
And then what he is saying to Corinne, the secondary of the trade card lets you refresh your commodities by spending a strategy token. But in the primary, Neil can say, no, you don't have to spend a command token. You just get to refresh your commodities if he wants to. So what he just said to Corinne is, I will let you refresh your commodities for free as long as you agree to give all 4 of them to me. And you know, when you give somebody your commodities, they turn into trade goods for you. Right?
Okay,
so he says, I'll refresh them. Yeah. You give me those 4, though. And then I'll give you 3 of mine. And so then you'll have 3 trade goods, and I'll have 4 more trade goods. Right? So now you can see Corinne.
So how did the refresh help Corinne?
She now has 3 trade goods that she didn't have before.
Okay.
And so he's going to...
Yeah, the refresh... She didn't... Yeah, by allowing her to refresh her commodities for free, I gave her the opportunity to trade with me and gain the trade goods. So I'm going to offer you the same deal. If I will refresh your 4 commodities if you will accept 3 of mine in exchange, and you give me your 4.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put this on your sheet and flip it over, and there's your 3 trade goods. And I will grab 4 from the supply.
So remember I told you that Hakan is masters of trade and they end up very rich, right? This is exactly how that happens. Because you can see now Neil has 7, he's got 11 trade goods. Are you going to give me the same deal?
So my agent allows me once per turn to gain 2 commodities. So what I'm going to do is I will refresh your 3, and then on my next turn, or actually maybe I can even do it now. Can I do this now? During the action phase, you may exhaust this card to gain 2 commodities.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to do this right now. So I'm going to flip this guy.
Okay.
And gain 2 commodities, and I will offer them to you in exchange for your 3.
Sure.
Okay.
So that means I get 2 trade goods. And
yes,
you get,
and I get 3.
You get my 3 commodities, which turn into trade goods for you. Cool. That was very...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can trade goods for commodities.
Yes.
Can't you, or can you only trade commodities?
No, you can trade goods as well. So here, this is a good time to talk about the detailed rules of trading. So typically, unless you're Neil, you can't trade with anybody unless you're like right beside them on the map somewhere. And the things that you can trade include commodities or trade goods and promissory notes, which we didn't talk about because I feel like they're not necessary and they're just sort of a nice add-on once you already know how to play the game. But you do have a little deck of promissory notes that you can offer to people. So one of them is a trade agreement that allows them to get trade goods when you replenish your commodities. One of them is a ceasefire. So if I had Jill's ceasefire and she tried to activate one of my systems, I could say nah, 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 and I'd give her back her ceasefire and she wouldn't be able to come in. So that's an example. But most of the time it's going to be sort of trading commodities with each other to turn into trade goods. But yeah, that is important, Corinne, because if somebody has commodities and you don't, but you do have trade goods, you can do them a favor and like give them some of your trade goods for their commodities. All right, so Neil's super rich now. Did the little pop-up show up for you that time, Jill?
No.
Oh, I don't know why it's not showing up for you. It's not really that important. It's just kind of a nice to have. It doesn't happen in real life, so anyways, right. I'm passing on that. So none of us need to do the secondary of that card because That's Neil right. let us all do it for free. All right.
I greased all palms.
Yeah, Neil's my favorite in the game right now, so.
Hoot has just followed. Thank you for following, Hoot. Welcome. I'm going to move our little following notification up because our little videos are covering it. There we go. All right, so that was Neil's turn. So if Neil, are you done your turn?
Yes, I did. Did I not pass it?
Oh, maybe you did. Yes, here it is my turn now. Okay, I get to go. I think I'm going to perform a tactical... Am I going to perform a tactical action? Yes, I am.
I was like, only you can answer that question.
Like, wait, am I supposed to know? I don't know. All right, I'm going to activate this here system, and I'm going to take these 2 planet cards off. I'm going to take this carrier with my 2 infantries, bringing those buds over here. And I guess I'll bring my cruiser and what the heck, I'll just bring everything. I'm beelining it for Mechatol Rex, you guys. I'm going back to my second home. I'm taking back the throne, all right? Oh, we've got some people chatting with us here. Ahoy, more board games on Twitch. Hello. I miss playing IRL. Yes. We were able to play this weekend, thankfully, because COVID is doing really well in Nova Scotia. I have not played Rex. I have not played that yet. Okay, so I've got these 2 systems. I'm going to explore them the same way that you did, Jill. So I'm going to explore a Cohen first. It is an industrial relic fragment. Sweet, I like these. And now I will explore Joel Ear. I got a functioning base. You may gain 1 commodity, or you may spend 1 trade good or 1 commodity to draw 1 action card. Okay, I think I would like to spend a trade good to draw an action card. So I'm going to take one of my trade goods, throw it in the garbage. These purple bags are garbage, by the way. Can toss anything in there. And then I'm going to draw an action card. Boink. Cool. So then this little card goes into the discard pile. And that's basically it for me, I believe. End turn. Back to Corinne.
Okay.
How's it feeling, Jill? Are you lost? It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that I might activate my other strategic ability, mostly because I'm hedging my bets on something happening before I do a tactical action.
Okay.
She's waiting for technology.
Okay.
That is exactly what is happening. So I'm going to activate the politics card.
I would love for technology to happen sooner rather than later, too. Okay, so Corinne, technically you get to choose who gets to be speaker. You can't choose Neil, though, because he was just speaker. And so, I mean, it probably just makes the most sense for you to keep it.
To acknowledge that, I am going to spin the token.
Oh, yeah, that's what you do when you put something in your area. You spin it around. All right, so Jill, Corinne's going to do a bunch of stuff for the primary for this card. But for the secondary, in case you want to consider doing it, you would spend a strategy token and draw 2 action cards.
That sounds fun. I want to do
Yeah,
that.
they are good. And I think I need to do the tech secondary.
Just before we do this, can you remind me how I draw and look at the cards?
Yep, so do you see where the deck is? So just type the number 2 on while you're hovering over this, and that will draw 2 cards into your hand. Boom. And then you can do the same thing with the agenda deck, Corinne. And then the agenda cards are programmed so that you can, like, I think you can right-click on the cards and choose whether to put them on the top or the bottom. So if you right-click on one of those that's in your hand right now, does it say, like, put it on top or put it on bottom?
I see the pop-up that says I can do both top, 1 each, both bottom.
Yeah, but that's not going to actually put the card there for you.
Ah, okay.
So you need to, like, right-click on the card itself and say whether you want to put it on the top or the bottom. Okay, So Neil is not doing the secondary of politics. I feel I just got a card, and I may want to use the diploma. Like I don't think I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna pass. But Jill, would you like to do the secondary and get some action cards?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a pop-up, though.
That's okay.
So I'm going to verbally say...
You're just going to... Yeah, that's fine. So just take one of your little command tokens
strategy?
here. Yes, exactly. One of the strategy ones. Okay. Place it in the little bag that's in the middle. There you go. Boink.
Okay.
And then come on over here to the top of the board. Do you see my little line?
Oh, yes.
So hover over this deck and type the number 2. And it should draw 2 action cards into your hand. Boom.
It did.
Okay. So reading these cards is interesting. Some of them, like, they all kind of tell you when they can be played. So it might say, like, at the start of ground combat, or after an agenda is revealed. Or it might say action : If it says action : that means that you can do it as your turn.
Okay.
Otherwise, it tells you when you can play the card. So some of these cards can be played out of turn and like trigger at various times, and some of them you play the card as your action instead of doing a strategic action or a tactical action.
I have a question related to my card.
Okay.
What are my reinforcements?
That's like all of these units that are still in your that's not on the board anywhere. So everything, so you can see you've got like 2 War Suns, you've got your flagship, you've got 5 dreadnoughts, 5 cruisers, etc. They're all, if you hover over the bag, it tells you how many.
Yeah, I was playing with them earlier.
Yeah.
I put one of my cruisers on my board.
Yeah, that's okay. Cool. So yeah, that's your reinforcements. And when it's talking about tokens, that little bag that you just chucked your token into, that's your reinforcements for that. All right.
So I put both of the agenda cards on the bottom.
Okay.
And I am not going to do... I don't have the choice of doing the secondary, right? I can only do the primary.
Correct. Yeah, when you're the one playing the card, you just do the primary. All right. So now it is Jill's turn. So,
oh no.
Jill, you can do another tactical action, or you can do the diplomacy strategy card or the construction strategy card.
So, for my primary ability of diplomacy, I would choose another system and make everyone else put someone in my system?
No. Close.
I don't know what that
means.
So,
you choose a system that contains a planet that you control. Everybody else has to put one of their command tokens into that system. Right now, at the early game, this doesn't really do anything. But what it eventually does is it stops somebody from fighting you in that system, right? Because once you have a token placed somewhere, like you've just placed a token in that system, Zanhacked and Sildari, until the next turn, you're not going to be able to activate that system again with a tactical action. So any place where you have a token, those units are already used up for this turn, and they're locked down, and they must stay there.
Okay. So for construction, it's place 1 PDS, which I don't know what that is, or space dock on a planet I control, or a planet I control. I could put a PDS on it.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
So this is a PDS. You have one on your home system. PDS are sort of like a defensive structure that goes on planets, and when...
Is it a planetary defensive structure?
Yeah, it is. I believe that is what it is.
Planetary defense system, yes.
Cool.
Oh, system, okay.
So it does a couple things. When somebody moves ships into the system where you have a PDS, it's going to shoot at those ships at the end of the movement phase to try and kill them before they do anything. If that doesn't kill the ships and somebody tries to land infantry on a planet where you have a PDS, it also shoots at the infantry as they're coming down. Okay. And you are particularly good with PDS because when the PDS are shooting like that, it's called space cannon. So if you look at your graviton laser system, it says you can exhaust this card before one or more of your units uses space cannon. And then hits by those units must be assigned to non-fighter ships if able. So one of the things that your faction kind of does really well is PDS. And it kind of creates this defense of your planets. Nobody's going to really want to go in there. It's sort of a deterrent from people trying to take your stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay. So So how come one of the options is place one PDS or one space dock on a planet you control, or place one PDS on a planet you control, or is it both?
You get to do both of those things. So you get to either put 2 PDSs or 1 space dock.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be worth doing then.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to do it eventually this round at some point. The thing you want to think about is where you want to place that stuff. So, for example, if at some point you want to be able to take like this perimeter planet and place it here, then you would want to wait to do it. But if you want to place some stuff over here on the system that you just took, or if you want to place it in your home system, then now's a fine time to do construction.
Okay, so what are the blue numbers again?
That's your influence. So right now, the only thing that we're spending influence on is that leadership card that Corinne played to buy new command tokens, but she already played it, so we don't have any use for influence this round anymore. The yellow number is your resources. And you're going to use resources.
So am I able to make these PDS things or the space dock for free?
Yes, because
that's just what I can do.
Yeah, they don't have a cost the same way that other units do. So if you look at your sheet, you can see that the PDS and the space dock don't have costs on them. They're sort of like weird structures. This card is the only way that you can actually make them. You can't just build them out of a space dock.
So I have a PDS in my little hand.
Yeah.
Can I do it on any of the planets I control? Just put one on it?
Yep. Boom. And now you can do that again, another PDS, or you can put a space dock. Another PDS?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, you kind of fell sideways. That's all right.
Well, you know, this one's aiming.
I mean, it's 3-dimensional, right? There's no up or down. All right, so to indicate that you played it, you should flip the card over with F. Perfect. And you can hit that little play button. I wonder if it will work, if it will show up for us. Hit that little
play button
on the card right above the 4. Yeah. It's showing up.
Did it work?
Yeah, but it's not showing up for you, huh?
Yep.
No.
Okay, so I don't know why those pop-ups aren't
red
working
and
for
green
you.
menu.
That's weird.
Okay, so can you remind me, the secondary is that I can spend a strategy token to build a space dock or a PDS?
Yep, and you have to use the strategy token to activate the system when you're doing the secondary. Jill didn't have to do that because it was the primary.
Right. So it's given that you only control your home system right now, activate
you don't want to do that.
Down your home system.
You don't want
to. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do anything tactical later because I wouldn't be
Exactly.
able to move anything out of that system. It's coming back to me.
Good.
Yeah.
So do I just hit end turn?
Yeah. Good turn, Jill.
Yay.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Technology.
So one thing that I no.
What?
One thing that I neglected to notice, given that I haven't played with the con leaders before, is that I have unlocked my commander. So the second leader down on each of our sheets is the commander. And mine, Gila the Silver Tongue, I unlock him by having 10 trade goods, and I currently have 14. So I'm going to flip him over. And now it says, when I cast a vote, you may spend any number of trade goods. Cast 2 additional votes for each trade good spent. We'll talk about that more in the agenda phase when we get there. So basically, he only has an effect in the agenda phase.
Yeah. Everybody has one of these commanders, so it's right below your... Yeah, it's the second guy down. So Jill, yours unlocks when you control planets that have a combined total of at least 12 influence. Currently, you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the blue numbers, remember? Mine unlocks when I control Mechatol Rex or enter into a combat in the Mechatol Rex system. So I don't have that yet. What's yours, Corinne? You own 8 technologies. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Cool.
All right, so I am activating the Semlor system.
Okay.
Moving in with 1 carrier, carrying 2 infantry and 1 fighter. Right, so I'll have to explore it. So I'm going to right click and explore Semlor.
Ooh, it's a fragment.
Ooh, cultural fragment.
Oh, when we were talking about things that you can trade, I didn't include relic fragments, but everybody can trade relic fragments as well if they want to. When your neighbors or with Neil, because Neil you can trade with all the time.
Yeah. And I'm more than willing to broker deals between distant friends.
Right.
All right, so I think that's the end of my turn.
Okay.
So how long is a round?
It's going to keep going until everybody has passed. So when it gets to you, at some point you're going to be like, I don't have anything else I can or want to do. And then at that point you will pass. And once everybody passes, we do a chance at scoring objectives. And then we do an agenda phase. And that's a whole round.
Okay.
All right. So this isn't... Okay, so I'm going to do another tactical action. I'm going to activate my home system and I'm going to build there. This would be probably important to pay attention to because I don't think anybody has built yet. So because this system has a space dock in it, the last thing that I do on a tactical action here is produce. So before this, if I wanted to, I could move ships into here, but I don't have any ships that I can move into here. So I'm not going to skip all that stuff and just produce. So I have 1 planet here, Winu, that has 3 resources that I can spend to produce, and I've also got 1 trade good, and I could spend that to produce some stuff too. I think what I'm going to want to do here is build a carrier to, carry some of my newly produced units out of this system and into the galaxy. So this carrier, if we look on my sheet, it costs 3 resources to build. So I'm going to exhaust this planet, Winu, for those 3 resources. I've got 1 trade good left, and so I'm going to use it to build some infantry. Infantry costs $1 for 2. So I'm going to pull these 2 little infantries out of my bag. I'm going to get rid of this trade good. And spend that. And so here we can see I've got a total cost of 4, and I've got 3 little pieces of plastic. So my space dock can produce 2 pieces of plastic plus whatever resource value the planet has. So this space dock is on a 3 resource planet, so I could produce up to 5 things. I'm not going to. I'm just going to produce these 3. So I put my little carrier over here onto the tile that I activated, and I put my little infantry down on the planet. The infantry have to go on the planet with the space dock. I only have 1 planet anyway, though, so there we go. That was production. Did that all make sense, Jill?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't remember any of it, but it made sense while you were saying
Okay.
it. I used to play a lot of Warcraft 2 in the early 2000s or late 90s. I don't remember when that was out, but some of the stuff seems reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So I think because technology has not yet been activated, I am going to just do a tactical action.
Okay.
And move some ships.
All right. Neil, are you going to do technology next?
I'm willing to entertain offers.
I would love it because it kind of will screw up my whole plan if you don't.
Okay, so I'm going to activate this system, and then I'm going to try to move stuff in a way that doesn't just cause me to drop everything.
I'm going to move the cards off for you. It's
Thank
always
you.
good to move the cards off first, because if you don't, then you place your ships on top of the cards, and then you pick up the cards, and it tosses your ships everywhere. It's
Just like in real life.
just like in real life. It's just a mess, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You can't carry too many things
Mm-hmm.
unless you're a waiter or waitress.
True.
Then you can carry all the things.
Okay, so I'm going to move a carrier, and I get control of them even if I don't put an infantry on them, correct?
No, you have to put an
No.
infantry to gain
I
control.
have to put an infantry to gain control.
Yep.
Okay. And I have a capacity of 4, so I can bring both of those people. That doesn't move. I'm going to bring a fighter, which also is capacity, right?
Yep.
Now the debate is whether or not I bring a dreadnought.
Are you trying to eventually get this 3-planet system?
Hey, that's fine.
Not necessarily. I just want to have some maneuverability, but there's a good system here that I can move into from my home.
Yeah, that's true.
So that should be fine.
Okay.
Okay, so then I right-click and I explore. This is new, right?
Yes, yeah. This is the
Yes, it
fun
is.
part. I love the exploration. It's so cool. All right, functioning base. You may gain 1 commodity, or you may spend 1 trade good or commodity to draw an action card. That's the same thing that I drew. So which one would you like to do?
I think I could spend a trade good.
Okay.
Yeah, for an action card.
Yeah,
pretty good deal right now.
That seems pretty hot.
I like it. I'm going to discard this card for you. And you can
So I shall yeet this into the bag.
yeet away and grab your action card. You just type 1 and it draws 1. Perfect. Okay, so that was the Bacal. Now you have to explore Alio Prima. What's this? Mercenary outfit. You may place 1 infantry from your reinforcements on this planet. Cool, you get an extra infantry. I'll discard this.
I somehow managed to not drag an infantry. We can do it.
Awesome. Great turn, great turn.
All right, and I shall end my turn.
Back to Jill.
Can I build something?
Yeah, if you want to. You just have to...
So, okay. Or
yeah, you know what?
Or could I move into another tile?
Okay, here's what I'm gonna
Like, what are
recommend.
my options?
Here's what you could do. Okay, so you could do either of those things, but I'm gonna recommend right now that you do diplomacy, and the reason for that is that I'm about to use warfare. Warfare is gonna let you build in your home system without putting one of your tactics tokens there. And this is powerful because that means that you'll be able to use those ships on your next turn to move out somewhere. Whereas right now, you could move out your cruiser, but your cruiser doesn't have capacity. And so you wouldn't be able to take over any new planets with it. But if you wait until I use warfare, you can use the secondary of warfare to build some stuff with capacity in your home system, and then your next turn you can move out.
Okay. What good is diplomacy?
So diplomacy, the first part of the diplomacy where we all put our tokens in, that's not really relevant for you right now. But what it does let you do is it allows you to refresh 2 planets that you control that are exhausted, and you do have 2 of those because you took Zanhact and Seldari, and they come to you exhausted. So you'll be able to use those for their resources and stuff.
Okay.
when you're building, right?
Yeah.
So it's more money
Yeah.
for you. And then in
Okay.
addition, you'll get to do your faction special thingy. So you'll get to annex one of the planets that's near you. So you'll just get to automatically take over either Evera or Perimeter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do it.
Okay.
So I flip it.
Yep.
And then I hit the little. Is there a little thing I can like
Play. I mean, yeah, this
play?
doesn't do anything for you, but
No. Okay.
okay. And I think this is one of the ones that I wanted to do. So I'm going to click secondary. So what you're going to do, Jill, is you're going to choose one of these two systems. It doesn't really matter right now which one you pick. So just right click on one of them and then choose diplomacy system. Boom. And so each of us now has a little command counter in here. None of us are able to activate this system this turn. Not that we could have anyways, because you're way too far away from us. So that's the first thing. Now you're going to refresh these two planets. Boink, boink. Cool. And then you're going to do your extra thing. So which of these two planets do you think you would like to grab right now? You're not going to get to put infantry on them, and I wonder if you get to explore? Question mark?
That's an excellent question. I don't know. She gains control of it, right? So exploration takes place after you gain control of a planet, right?
Okay, so let's say she gets to explore. I don't know what the actual rule is,
yeah.
but let's just say that you do.
What are these red
Yeah.
marks?
So this is what's called a nebula. It's a type of anomaly. So any system that has these little red marks around the border is
Corners,
considered
yeah.
an anomaly. The nebula, they all have like weird kind of rules about them. The nebula is interesting because a nebula, if you hover over it, it gives you a little summary. It says ships cannot move through this system. So it means you have to just move into it and then stop. You can't pass through it, even if your ship has a movement value that would normally let it. And any ship that starts its movement here and moves out from there has its base movement set to 1. So you can only, when you move out of it, move 1 space, even if your move value would normally be more than that. And also, you can't retreat into it. We haven't talked about that yet. I also think it's true that when you're defending in a nebula, don't you get +1 on your rolls?
Yes, you get a +1 bonus. There's actually a token for that. I noticed over here, above where the strategy cards sit. There's a little nebula.
Oh yeah.
If you hover over it, it says Nebula Defense.
Yeah. Okay.
So
cool.
you place that on your player board.
Cool. So basically, it kind of slows everything down, the nebula, and it's a good defensive spot. Yeah, it doesn't really have as much.
I'll take that one then.
Okay.
So what do I do?
You get this card. I'm going to use one of your little control tokens. So there's another little baggie over here. It's called the owner token bag.
Okay.
And it has these little tokens in it. And we're just going to place one of these on Evera. So this means that you control that planet, but you don't have any units there.
Nothing to defend it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm going to say that you can go ahead and explore Evera. Oh, look at you. Another cultural fragment. You're only 1 away from a relic, Jill. That's pretty exciting.
I hope it's a good one.
Yeah, me too.
I hope it's a staff of bird calls.
I have I have the third fragment you're looking for, and I'd be happy to sell it to you at the right price.
Oh.
Well, it's Jill's turn. What's the price?
Okay, so one of the special things about Hakan, one of my special powers that no other faction has, is what's it called? Arbiters. When you are negotiating a transaction, action cards can be exchanged as a part of that transaction. So, I will give you this cultural fragment in exchange for my choice of your 2 action cards.
Can you see what I have already?
No. You would be agreeing to show him your 2 cards and letting him pick one of them if you agree to this.
in exchange, you get the third fragment, and then on your next turn, you can gain a relic, which will give you a special power.
I mean, special power, when you say it like that, does sound very appealing.
In exchange for the low price of just one action card.
And knowing
and your
knowing,
choice of it, right?
Yeah, and knowing what her other action card is. Like
I don't think I'm gonna go for it because I have a card that I want to use someday.
Yeah, you could give him three the trade goods that you have.
But well, tell you what, I'll take your other action card and one trade good.
Okay. How do I give a card?
Okay, so just hit F on it while it's in your hand.
Okay.
And then drag it out onto the board. Okay, and then that should... And then
like that?
I want to show you a fun trick with these trade good tokens. See how this one is like 3 trade goods, but it's only 1 token?
Yes.
If you hover over it and type R... Is it R? It is R, right? It turns it into 3 individuals. Automatically. It's just a fun...
And then I put one over here.
Onto Neil's board. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so then on a subsequent turn,
please come again.
Yeah, on a subsequent turn, Jill, as an action, you can exchange these for a relic. But you've already done an action this turn. You did diplomacy, so you have to hang on to them for now. But on your next turn or whenever, sometime in the future, you can trade them in for a relic.
So I could just end turn now.
Yeah. Cool.
Perfect.
Neil's turn.
Yes. Okay. So everyone is just. Really
I did do the
excited.
secondary. I just haven't flipped them yet. Is that
Oh,
fine?
yeah. I wanted to do the secondary as well and totally forgot. So
Sorry, Neil.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Corinne.
What was the
Kate,
secondary?
did Corinne just put her command counter into the
It went
graveyard?
back into
Will
my
that go... Oh, did it? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, I
yeah,
wasn't sure
the
about
graveyards behave pretty well, but I remember there was a time where you couldn't throw command counters in here. But it's fine now.
So Jill, the secondary of diplomacy allows us to spend a strategy token to refresh up to 2 planets. I had only taken 1. Yeah, I had only taken 1, but I chose to do it anyway because it has a resource value of 3.
Which is pretty good.
Okay.
So that allows me to spend that money.
And you really need money, right? Because you're sort of scraping by. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I need to spend 16 resources to get the two victory points, right? Unfortunately, I can only claim 1 this turn. Anyway, so yes, I will do technology. So, for everyone else, except for Corinne, the secondary of technology is that you spend 1 token from your strategy pool, and then you spend 4 resources, either from planets or trade goods, and then you can research 1 technology that you qualify for. Me, because I'm doing the primary, and Corinne, because she's Jalnar and is really good at technology, get to research 1 technology for free, and then a second one for 6 resources.
Okay.
But Corinne also has to spend the strategy token to do it.
So I am going to do the secondary. I'm spending my strategy token, and unfortunately I just have to spend 5 resources because I have a planet with 3 and a planet with 2, and that's all. So I just have to spend them both because you can't spend like part of a planet.
So I want technology? Is that a thing that I want?
So generally it's good because it gives you better abilities, and it improves other abilities. Let me just grab my tech first before we talk about that. Okay, there we go. I'm getting gravity drive. So the thing that's tricky right now is that you don't know any of the tech in the deck, and you can see that there are like 34 cards in this deck. So if you want to do technology, I would say it's not a bad idea, but maybe we can like talk through what would be a good technology for Xcha to get.
But I'd be spending resources that maybe I'd want to build with.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you did say that you kind of want to build. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resources, right? 3 on planets and 2 in trade goods. So maybe you do want to save those this round for building in your home system so that you can then go out and take another planet like we talked about.
Yeah, I just want to explore and like venture
right
forth.
now there's no like immediate reason for you to take technologies. Sometimes the objectives that come out are about technology, but right now that's not the case. Right now it's spending resources and getting a flagship out. We're probably not getting either of those. Neil will get one, and I don't know about Corinne, probably not. Probably Neil gets that point this round, but gets a point this round.
So Kate, you are planning to do warfare next, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. So yes, the technology that I got, by the way, is called gravity drive, and it allows me when I'm activating a system, I can give one of my ships +1 move, which is how I'm gonna get to Mechatolrex. All right, so
just 1 second before you go, because there's some new tech.
Yeah.
And I need to do my first and second. I've spent my strategy token.
Okay.
But the when you activate a system, you may explore one planet in that system which contains one or more of your units. So can you explore a system again?
Only when you have that tech.
On subsequent activations, yes, you can.
Yeah.
That seems cool.
It is cool. And so like normally you only explore a system when you're getting there for the first time and nobody's been there before. You're not taking it from somebody else. But this tech, would let you continue to explore every time you activate a system again. Do you still need time? Are you picking another one?
Yeah, I'm picking another one, and then I'll have to spend my 6 units, so just give me 1 second, sorry.
That's okay. I'm gonna maybe run and grab a glass of water. Do we need a break? Do we need a 5-er?
I'm okay with
sticking
taking a break or not. I'm fine.
Okay.
I don't need a break, but I was just gonna go grab some water, which will take like 30 seconds. Okay.
I'm gonna take the predictive intelligence as the second one.
That's a good one.
Oh, okay.
I considered that one myself.
If you already know, then I won't go get my water. I'll wait.
I'll remain thirsty.
Yes.
I am sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so I have spent, and it's the yellow that are the things that I can spend, correct?
Yep, resources, that's right.
And it cost me 6.
Yes, because you're doing the primary.
And you can use trade goods to cover part of that cost.
Yeah,
if you wish.
you can. All right, this will be my chance to get water because you guys are all gonna have to think. Let me know when you're done, Corinne.
Yes, just 1 second.
Am I gonna have to think?
Well, I can
I'll help you.
Yeah, we can advise you. It's gonna be building in your home system.
I've spent 3 of my planets and a trade good for the 6th.
So I'm now playing Warfare. For me, the primary ability is that I just take one of my tokens off the board. So this token that I use to activate a Cohen Jewel Ear, I'm removing it, and I'm going to place it over here on my command sheet in Tactics.
Are they okay?
What?
Are all the people inside okay?
Inside the Tactics token?
Are there people in that?
No. It's just a token. So I just basically I unlocked this system. So now these ships that were here, I can move them again next time. I get to take it off of the board and place it here. I can rearrange all these tokens if I want to at this point, but I think I move. I'm gonna move one of these fleet tokens down here. Okay. Now for the secondary of warfare. Jill, you are going to want to do this. You're going to take your strategy token and spend it.
Okay. How do I spend it again? Do I put it in the...
Yeah, put it in the little bag in the middle of
And it's my strategy token. I stick it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now you're going to build in your home system. So your space dock here is on a 2-resource planet, which means 2 plus 2 is 4, so you can produce 4 pieces of plastic total. That's the maximum number of things you can build.
Can I build a carrier?
Yep, so the character is 1 piece of plastic. It costs 3 resources, so you'll need to spend 3 resources to build it.
Okay. So I would flip this and this.
These ones don't have any resources on them, but if you want to build more stuff,
useless.
you have to trade goods. Now, you do already have 2 infantry in your home system, so you don't need to spend your trade goods in order to move out, but it might be a good idea to spend one of them and make a couple infantry, just so that you don't leave your home system completely empty.
How do I spend my trade good again? I put it in a garbage bin?
Yeah, there's
this purple bag?
Yeah, exactly. You can also just delete them because we have infinite tokens for those.
I don't want to be wasteful, Kate. So I want to make 2 little infantries, right?
Yeah.
Kiwi's saying, an important question, Jill. Are the tactic token people okay though? and then they go on to say, this was sincere, not sarcastic. I still don't understand where the people are, except that you did have the option to mercilessly dispose of 10,000 of them at one point.
So
I agree.
Kiwi, this little flag right here, that's an infantry, and it represents a platoon of infantry, I guess.
Well, like a division. It'd be 10,000 troops or something, yeah.
What's a platoon?
Platoon is 30 to 40 troops.
Oh, okay. Anyways.
Is a troop of 1 person or multiple people?
One troop is 1 person. Protect them at all costs. Yes.
Especially since it's called infantry. They must be 4 years old?
At most.
Itty bitty.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now you're going to take those things that you just built and put them into your little home system here. So the carrier can go in the sky, and the 2 infantry have to go on this planet because that's where the space dock is that built them. Cool.
Let's roll.
Is everybody else done with warfare?
No. Can you remind me what my production is? Because
yes, I can. So
I'm silly.
It's okay. You have a space dock on a 2-resource planet, so it's 2 plus 2 is 4. So the space dock itself gives you 2 plus the number of resources on the planet. So 4 pieces of plastic, and then otherwise you're limited by how much money you have, which looks like $3 to me. But when yes,
I pay 1 less.
Yeah. So you have 4. You can build
Sarween tools.
Yeah, you can build $4 worth of stuff. So while you're thinking about that, I am for reals going to go get my glass of water, but I'll be right back.
Fine. I have one more question. I know that I have to spend
I can answer,
strategy token. Well, no, yeah, Kate can go. Neil has answers as well. I have to spend the strategy token to do that, but it doesn't activate the system. It just goes back to my bag. Okay.
That's the benefit.
Perfect.
Is that you get to build things in your home system and then use them. Yeah. So, Corinne, while you're considering your build, I'm going to explain mine to Jill. So my space dock is also on a 2-resource planet, which is the richest planet in my home system. So I can only build 4 pieces of plastic. I'm going to build my flagship for a cost of 8. I'm going to build a mech for a cost of 2, and I'm going to build 2 infantry for a cost of 1. So that comes to a total of 11. But I also have the technology Sarween tools, which basically just gives me a discount of 1 every time I build. So I only have to spend 10 resources. I don't have any resources. I don't have any resources left on planets, so I spend 10 trade goods to build my flagship, 1 mech, and 2 infantry.
So when you say mech, is that 1 person inside a robot body?
More or less. I mean, it's probably 50 of them or something. But it costs 2 resources, and it's got much better combat abilities than infantry. So it's like a big armored robot.
Cool.
Exactly. You have mechs as well, Jill. And all of our mechs have special different abilities based on your faction. So I'm showing yours to the stream right now. So Jill's mechs, when she creates them, they have Space Cannon 8. So just like your PDS, Yeah, just like your PDS, these mechs can shoot at stuff in the sky. And you can use this unit's space cannon against ships that are in adjacent systems. So it doesn't just shoot ships in the system that it's in, it shoots like adjacent.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, I was able to build the 4 tiny infantry people for the cost of 1 trade good.
2.
Correct.
Wait, what?
1.
Nope, but she has
Starwing
Starwing tools.
Oh, okay, so all you built was those 4.
Yep.
4 infantry for one trade good. Yes.
Yep, that's right.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think that is my turn. Now it is Corinne's turn.
Oh my God, I've only got 5 trade goods left. I'm so poor.
Gil, you're going to have a crisis.
Yeah.
I like how these turtle people seem to be like very like diplomatic and stuff, but it's like be good or else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I am going to take advantage of what has happened, and I am going to move a dreadnought and a carrier and 3 infantrymen.
Okay. Into Vorhal. Ooh, it's our first attachment. So, Paradise World. This planet's influence value is increased by 2.
That seems amazing.
So if we move this card away, you can see that there's been a little token added. So this is, instead of it being a 0 resource 2 influence planet, it is a 0 resource 4 influence planet. This gets purged, I believe. Don't the attachments get purged?
Well, or you can put it underneath the card, the planet card itself to help.
This
remember.
mod adds a tag to the card.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a little +2 up here.
So you don't need.
Oh,
you
nice.
don't need to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess you can purge it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Hoot is asking, does this have the new expansion, which retails for $100?
Yes, it does, and that $100 is American, I think, because I paid
Whoa.
more. I paid more than that in Canada for it.
It is, but it was a wonderful way to spend $100.
Listen, it's quite an expansion. So all this exploring that we're doing, that's part of the expansion. These little relics, all of the mechs and these leaders are part of the expansion. There's 7 new factions that are part of the expansion. Yeah. Oh, Neil's talking to his son, I think. Okay, so Jill, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to... So can I move into perimeter?
Yeah.
Is that something worth, like, doing? Like, I feel like I'm trying to get more planets
Yeah.
to, like, get more stuff.
Yep. I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
Okay. So I made a new carrier, and I can take that with 4 people?
Correct.
So
So,
4 clumps of people?
yeah. First thing you're going to want to do is activate the system with a tactical token.
Oh, right. Tactical token.
I'm going to move
Tactical token.
moving the card off. Right.
Okay.
And so now you move your ships in. So you've got the
Okay,
carrier.
So I've got my carrier, and they're going to take an infantry.
You should bring a few with you because next turn maybe you'll move from here out to somewhere else, right? So like
2 infantry.
even if you brought 3, you'd be able to come over
3.
here and explore all these Rigels, you know? Rigel 1, Rigel
Sure.
2, Rigel
Yep. 3. Raggle rock. Here we come.
3. All right. So now I
And
believe.
then I can explore.
Yeah. Local fabricators. You may gain 1 commodity, or you may spend 1 trade good or 1 commodity to place 1 mech from your reinforcements on this planet. But do you have? You don't have. Okay, so you're just. Oh no, you still have a trade good. You do have a
I
trade
do have
good.
a trade good. Okay, I want to do a
Nice.
trade good
So
and get a mech.
Get it back.
yeah, so the mechs are just with all your other units there. You should be able to find them.
Yeah. So and so it's got a space cannon all of a sudden.
There you go.
Awesome.
Sweet, Jill. That's good.
Yay! Oh no!
Oh no, he's
Mac
falling
just
into
collapsing.
space.
Oh no!
I'm upside down.
Hoot says, next question was if y'all are Canadian, because I thought I just heard Rodney Smith. Now, we are Canadian, but Rodney Smith is not here. Although,
Who's Rodney Smith?
he's a board game YouTuber who does, like, Watch It Played is his YouTube channel, so he does, like, board game instructional videos. And, yeah, he's been to Halcon a few times, so I definitely have met him a few times through Halcon. He lives in PEI. He lives in PEI, which is very close to us. Someone said cards just like him. Oh, I see.
We've got the
I see.
accent.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we live very near him, so it's like a very similar part of Canada.
I do feel like I'm losing my Nova Scotia accent, though. 'cause
Oh,
I've
yeah, that's
been
right.
gone for 6 years.
So, yeah, some of us
Yes.
are in Canada. Corinne is Canadian originally, but she's American now. You're officially American, aren't you? Did you get your...
No.
Oh.
I just have a green card.
Oh.
I'm allowed to live here permanently, but
Yay.
I am not American.
Good for you.
And you're in Maryland, right?
Well,
Yeah, I'm in Maryland, but I'm right on the border of DC, so I work in DC
Okay.
and stuff.
yeah.
Right.
All right, so great job, Jill. You got a mech. You just land on this planet and like found a mech, and you're like, hey, it's one of my mechs.
No, the people there built it for.
No.
Local
They
fabricators.
love me.
They were like, hey, do you have any blueprints that you want us to like do, or we've got this 3D printer.
Hey.
Yeah. All right, so I believe that would be it for your turn, Jill.
Oh yeah, I have to hit enter. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right. So now I have got myself the technology gravity drive. So I'm going to activate this 3-planet system over here. And I'm going to gravity drive my my flagship to it.
Cheeky little space kitty.
And I'll send the cruiser along because it's got a movement of 2.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring along the mech I built and land it on the hazardous planet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring along 2 infantry and land them on the 2 cultural planets. Because my flagship has a capacity of 3, so I can carry these 3 units. All right, so first I'm going to explore that industrial planet, which is
Was there a question?
Ash.
Yeah, what's the technology symbol again? Is that the green one on the planet? Or
There's
there
no.
are no tech
Oh,
specialties
sorry.
on
It's
these
not a
planets.
tech specialty. It's the planet type. So
Oh.
this red symbol here, this
Is
red
the hazardous
triangle
one.
is hazardous. Yeah. The blue here is cultural.
cultural?
If you look right,
What's the green one?
industrial.
Ah, okay.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
what I was curious about.
If you look over here, Jill,
So-
do you see this little green symbol? That's a tech.
Yeah.
That is a tech specialty.
Oh,
So
okay.
the tech specialties are here, and the planet types are here.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I explored a volatile fuel source. If you have at least 1 mech on this planet, which I do, gain 1 command token.
That is so convenient.
Yeah, so that's actually the
It
same card that
really
you drew, Jill. So that's a really good idea if you have mechs is to take them to explore those hazardous planets,
Hazardous
those red
planets.
planets,
Yeah.
because if you have a mech, you don't have to destroy anything. But if you have an infantry, in order to get the benefit, you need to destroy the...
And the mechs
Okay.
are new with the expansion, correct?
Yes, they are.
Correct.
Oh, we've got a
All right,
D...
so I explored Abaddon, which is a demilitarized zone. Return all structures on this planet to your reinforcements, then return all ground forces in this planet to the space area. Attach. Units cannot be committed to, produced on, or placed on this planet. During the agenda phase, this planet's card can be traded as part of a transaction. So, nobody can take this planet from me using military force, but I can give it away if I want to.
Right. Okay, so your little infantry is going to go into space.
Yeah.
I guess
so
the
I will need
DMZ
to
would
put
get purged as well, would it not?
maybe,
Yes, because it's another attach thing.
but I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay, there. So I put my control counter on it, and then I'm going to explore the 3rd planet in the system, which is called Loki. This is going to
Oh,
be
that
tricky.
sounds tricky, yeah.
Yeah. You may play mercenary outfit. Place 1 infantry from your reinforcements on this planet.
All
Okay.
right.
So I'm just going to grab an infantry token and put it under there. And end turn.
All right, my turn. It's time for my big fancy move, everybody. I am activating Mechatol Rex.
I'm so surprised.
It's not. So, okay, I'm going to move. So I have the tech gravity drive, which allows this carrier to move 2 spaces instead of 1. And then I'm going to take my little infantry friends with me. I'm going to take my little fighter friends with me. And I'm also going to take my little cruiser friend with me. So first thing I'm noting here is that I left this system completely empty. But that's okay. I still control the planets. But I'm placing my little tokens here just so that we all know that those are mine. So that indicates that I still control them.
Definitely don't show up and try and take them.
Yeah. So normally when somebody activates Mechatol Rex and tries to land on the planet for the first time, Jill, they have to spend 6 influence in order to take control of the planet. But the reason that I chose the Winu is because they have like a birthright and connections with the custodians of Mechatol Rex. And I don't have to spend 6 influence in order to land there. However, when you do land there, you get a victory point. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I got a victory point. I'm going to put this way up here in the victory point area. I'm going to take the Winu token, which rightfully belongs on this victory point track. And I'm going to move myself up on the scoreboard from 0 to 1 victory points. Then I'm going to take the Mechatol Rex planet card and place it over here. I'm going to place my little infantry friends onto the planet. And breathe a sigh of relief as I made it to Mechatol
Don't
Rex.
forget that when you take control of Mechatol Rex as Winu, you get to place a space dock and PDS.
So true. So yeah, first of all, my commander is unlocked because I've controlled Mechatol Rex. And then due to reclamation, after I resolve a tactical action during which I gained control of Mechatol Rex, I can place a PDS and a space dock there. So I'll go ahead and do that. Whoopsie. Boink. Alright, Corinne, you can go.
Okay. We will have an agenda phase, right? Because we've unlocked Mechatol Rex.
Yes.
So
Correct,
I should save some influence.
You don't need to save influence because everything gets refreshed at the beginning of that phase. And then it also
You'll
gets
have all of your influence available.
Yeah, it also gets refreshed again before the next game round starts, so you can spend all of your stuff and not worry about it.
So then it might make sense for me to use a tactical action to activate my home system, do some production, but also explore those 2 planets or one of those planets?
You can't explore your home system planets.
Ah, shucks.
But you could build some stuff there.
Yeah, you know what's on both of your home planets. You've been all over them.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Find any new stuff.
Okay, let's make some stuff then.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm having issues with like zooming and trying to read cards.
What did you draw, Jill?
I drew a little space station on a planet.
Is that on your home system?
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
So I think I can afford to build something that costs up to 3.
Yeah.
Though I don't know that it makes a ton of sense to build a carrier with no infantry in my home system. But I guess it's not necessarily the worst choice.
Yeah. You can later on move the carriers that you have back into your home system to pick stuff up. It sucks because it's not super efficient.
Actually, I think it's fine because I forgot that there is a infantry dude here. So I will just build the carrier.
Okay.
And that does that exceed my fleet limit?
No. So, your fleet limit is 3, and that means that's the number of non-fighter ships you can have in each hex. So right now, you've got one hex with 2, one with 1, and another one with 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's perfect.
That,
all right. So I think that's everything.
Yeah, that misunderstanding is one that people make a lot, I find. They think that their fleet limit is like the total number of ships that they can have on the whole board, but it's just...
I think you've explained it to me like 5 times.
You're not the only one that thinks that. It's really common. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Jill. Oh!
So I can get a... What is this, a fragment?
It's
I can get a...
You have 3 relic.
Relic.
You can have 3 relic fragments, so you can purge these 3 to get a relic.
Is that an action
Yes.
that I take?
Yep.
Okay, so that's all I will do this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
So how do I do
So
it?
take these, bring them all the way up here, if you can follow me. Or I'll do my little pointy thing. You're going to put them in this blue bag right here. These are really cool bags because there's 9 total cultural relic fragments in the game. And it tells you now how many have been cashed in. So we know that there's like 6 left to be used. All right, so then you're going to want to draw. Let's shuffle this little relic deck in case it wasn't shuffled. And then you can draw one off the top of that. This is going to be public information, so you can pull it right out of your hand and place it in front of you. And what did you get? Maw of the Worlds. At the start of the agenda phase, which we will have, you may purge this card and exhaust all of your planets to gain any one technology. So that's a cool little thing that you will probably want to hang on to. I wouldn't recommend using it right away, but someday. This is cool because you can take any technology you want with this. You don't have to have, remember how I was talking about all the prerequisites that you need for some technologies?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that with this one. So you could just go ahead and grab a War Sun technology and place it out on your board. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I'm activating, was it Lysis and Velnor. I'm moving a carrier from my home system with a fighter and 2 infantry. So I will explore Lysis.
We need a special shampoo for that.
Yeah. Gain 1 commodity or spend 1 trade good or commodity to draw an action card. Do I want to spend? Sure. So I'll do that. I'll just set aside the action or the trade good for now, and then I'll explore the other planet. Explore Velnor.
Hey Corinne, did you see my glass?
Gain 1 commodity or spend 1 trade good or commodity to get a mech. Oh,
Look
nice.
at you!
Okay.
She bought these for me.
Aw.
So I'm going to spend a trade good to place a mech.
Okay.
So my mechs are weird. They allow me to trade the planet away.
Oh, weird. It makes
Yes,
sense.
it is.
You're the traders, so...
Yeah. Okay. And I also get to draw an action card, which I'm going to do now.
Okay. All right. On my turn, I'm going to use my Imperial strategy card. It says immediately score 1 public objective if you fulfill its requirements. I do not, so I can't. Then I can gain a victory point if I control Mechatol Rex, which I do, so I'll gain a 2nd victory point. Da, da, da. Da, da, da,
Did you want to click play?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I am
So,
going to follow. I'm going to use. Yeah.
The secondary ability of this action card is to spend a strategy token to draw another secret objective. Neil said that he is going to do that, and Corinne could do it. Jill, you don't have any strategy tokens left, so you can't.
I don't think I'm going to.
Okie doke. Did you draw one, Neil?
I did, yes, thank you.
Okay. Sorry, here we go. That's my turn. I think we're nearing the end of this round.
How is it my turn again? I don't think that there's actually anything else that I want to do. Will you correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, no, it seems that way. All your stuff is activated on the board, so you can't do any more tactical actions. The only thing that I can't see is your action cards, so there might be one there that has the action keyword that you would want to do. If not, you can pass.
Yeah, I think because I don't really want to use predictive intelligence to move my stuff around, so I think I will just pass over all.
All right.
So to do that, I just end turn. Is that
There's a little
correct?
circle here in front of you. You can flip it to past and then end your turn. And this will make it so that the turn order automatically skips over you when it comes back to you.
Perfect.
Is there anything I can do to spend my influence? I have
No, yeah, not
3.
Not anymore. No.
Is there anything else I can do?
I think it's pretty much the same as with Corinne. Unless you have something really cool in your hand, then I would pass. Yeah.
Me, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay, I am going to play an action card, which I just got while I was exploring, called Ghost Ship. So, action. Place one destroyer from your reinforcements in a non-home system that contains a wormhole and does not contain another player's ships.
Okay, this is a good.
So, I'm going to use it. Go ahead.
Where are you going to place it? I'll talk after you do it.
Okay. So, I have the technology anti-mass deflectors, which allows me to go into asteroid fields. So I'm going to place the destroyer in this alpha wormhole here, in this asteroid field, right there, which I believe will trigger the frontier token for me.
Yes, it will. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff to unpack. Okay,
Yeah.
So there's several wormholes on the board. You can see this yellow-colored A alpha wormhole. There's also this green-colored B beta wormhole, right? There's actually 2 alpha wormholes. Actually, there's 3 alpha wormholes. These are all connected to one another. So you can move from this tile over to this one with a movement of 1.
Oh.
Same from here to here or here to here. And the beta wormholes are also connected in the same way. And I believe there's only 2 beta wormholes, question mark? Looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how wormholes work. There's also gamma wormholes, as you can see on this little token tile over here. We don't have access to them yet. It's something that we could discover, but eventually, if we get a gamma wormhole on the board, we'd be able to move over to this crazy place over here. Right, so Neil is now in this asteroid field with his destroyer, and there's a frontier token here. He has a technology that allows him to explore anywhere that there's a frontier token.
Yeah.
So,
dark energy tap.
Yeah, so he's going to go ahead and explore there. So this is kind of the same thing as when we're exploring planets, but he's basically, he found a planet. That's cool.
Is it a ghost planet?
I guess.
Pretty much.
It's called
Mirage.
Yeah, it's called Mirage. This is a legendary planet. So you can see if you look at the planet card, there's a little symbol on it at the top left, and that indicates that it's a legendary planet. There's other planets on this board that are legendary planets, like this planet right here. Primer is legendary, so is Hope's End. They're just kind of special because they have this sort of action associated with them. Where did you put it, Neil? So Mirage has this Mirage Flight Academy card, and now that Neil controls Mirage, he'll be able to use this card once per turn, and I believe it gives you some fighters. But
2 fighters once per turn.
But each of the legendary planets gives you something different with their legendary card thingy. So cool, good job. I don't know what's going on here. This token is like on top of your destroyer. Can you?
Here, let me pick it up and I'll move the destroyer.
There we go.
In real life, it takes 2 people to do things like this as well.
Yeah.
It's like, could you lift that token so I can just?
That's so cool. It's a planet in an asteroid field.
With a wormhole.
With a ghost ship.
With a wormhole.
With a ghost ship.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that's the most exciting tile that I've seen so far.
Don't you think
Whoa.
this should be where our scenario is set on the planet Mirage in an alpha wormhole in an asteroid field with a ghost ship?
Asteroid field. Yes.
But doesn't this also just mean that
you're writing
Neil
that
has
down.
won the game?
Yeah, like it's 10 o'clock. It's like over now, right? Like
Yeah.
Neil just won.
Congratulations, Neil, you win. or the game is over now and the person who has the most points wins, right?
But
Neil
those
does have a
points
ghost
weren't
ship.
Well, no.
A ghost planet.
Well,
Uh,
it's nobody. Kate, you haven't passed yet. I haven't passed yet. We're still going. Come on.
All of this is just a joke.
It's your turn now.
All of this is just a joke.
Okay.
I am actually. What's my?
Kiwi says that who wins is who has the most ghosts. I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's actually a faction called the Ghosts of Creus, and they are very cool.
Yeah.
What?
Okay,
Yes.
so I am going to pass, and now Neil, you get to go again because everybody else has passed.
Okay, I am going to score a point. I'm going to score this action phase.
Oh,
secret
ghost
objective
point.
called Be the last player to pass during a game round.
Oh, okay.
So you've all passed. So, yeah.
So that was one of Neil's secret objectives that he drew. Cool. So you can place that up. You know where it goes? Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
why you wanted that action card from me.
No.
Being
I
able to
did-
prolong the turns.
That actually, I just drew that on the
No,
secondary.
I know.
of,
But earlier you wanted more action cards.
yes.
And I was like,
Yeah.
why though?
Yeah. All
And
right.
what I was
Oh.
so even though I had passed my turn, and I'm just gonna spoil this because I don't know if we'll ever play again, but I had a card
Yeah.
called Sabotage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could I have played that at your? I didn't want to because it was a ghost ship, and I was like, "This is too cool.
Yeah.
I can't even if I could, I don't want to do it."
You could have.
but
yes.
could I had?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. But typically, what you use a sabotage for is to prevent someone else from winning or to protect yourself from something someone else is doing to you. Right?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's. Yeah. Basically, it's as if I've never had that card.
Yeah. You
Okay. Yeah, I
cancel it.
didn't want to do it because it was way too cool. But anyway,
And
I was
it-
like,
you know
I wanna
what?
play this sometime.
I just want to say, Jill, that it was a really good idea for you not to let Neil take that card from you because it's one of the
Yes.
it's one of the best action cards. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
actually
figured.
there's actually 4.
It's not even an action card. It's like it's an action card, but it doesn't take an action.
Right.
To
Yeah, it's like a reaction
Yeah,
kind
it's
of.
a reaction. Yeah.
All
In
right.
D&D terms.
So we've now finished that action phase. So the first thing that we do is we each get a chance to score one public objective. We do this in initiative order. So Corinne, would you like to score a public objective? I don't believe you can.
I don't believe I have the opportunity.
Do you have a secret objective that you'd like to score?
I do not.
Okay. So then it would be up to Jill. I also think that Jill cannot because we need to have either a flagship or a war sun on the board. You don't have that. or you need to spend 8 resources, and you do not have 8 resources left over. So Jill can't score either. Jill, do you have a secret objective that you would like to score?
No, I don't even know what my secret objective means. So.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
All right. So Neil.
Yes, I have a flagship.
All right. So you'll go up 1 point here, and you'll score that point. I do not have another public objective that I can score, and I'm not going to score my secret objective either. So at this point, we reveal the next public objective. So the next public objective is push boundaries, control more planets than each of 2 of your neighbors. Oh, this is really hard in a 4-player game.
Yes.
So that would be like another objective that we can now score later on in future turns. The next thing that happens here is we draw action cards. So everybody gets 1 except for Corinne gets 2, right?
I do indeed.
So I'm going to deal these
Yes.
out. So deal 2 action cards to Purple. I'm going to deal 1 to Jill, 1 to Neil, 1 to me. Cool. After we do that, we remove our command tokens from the board. I guess I just press a button to do all this stuff. Oh, I could have pressed this button to deal action cards too. So
Could I ask a question just very quickly? I don't know if we're playing another round, but I forget. Can you play more than 1 action card on a turn?
yes.
Perfect.
Wait.
Thank you.
Oh, as an
not
action?
as an action.
Not as an action. No.
But for instance, if you're in a fight, there's a card called Direct Hit that you can use to destroy a ship that's used sustained damage. And if you have 2 of those cards and 2 ships do that in the same round, you can use both of them.
Yeah, but you only get
I have.
1
I just have a bunch of like reaction cards, so I was wondering
Yes.
if
The reactions you can play as many as are triggered.
Each time that the timing trigger comes up. Exactly, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I just pressed the end of the phase thing. So I've returned all of our strategy cards. Everybody's planets should now be refreshed and ready to go. You've also got 2 command tokens sitting on top of your faction sheet. You get 2 new ones every round, and you just have to place them wherever you want. So you can place them in your tactics, in your strategy, or in your fleet. I'm going to place 1 in my tactics and 1 in my strategies. That's what I always do, unless I have a reason to do something different. Okay, and we are nearly done the round. We're almost done. We're just going to do the agenda phase. So if you come over to this area of the board, Jill, you can see that we each have a little counter that matches our color. So you can see yours is right here. It says how much influence we have on all of our planets. And we are going to be able to use this influence to vote on 2 agendas. Okay? So I'm going to take the first agenda off of the top of this agenda deck. I'm going to place it here. And I'm going to call the first meeting of the Galactic Council to order and resolve to read this first agenda. So, the first agenda is a law. It's called Enforced Travel Ban. If we vote for this law, alpha and beta wormholes have no effect during movement. So remember how I told you that you could move all the way across the board through an alpha wormhole? Well, not if we vote for this law. If we vote against this law, we will have to destroy each PDS that is in or adjacent to a system that contains a wormhole.
Ooh, I
So,
wonder if that- Yeah,
It's a lot of people.
never mind.
oh, it's just PDS.
Yeah.
They're just structures. It doesn't look like there are any PDS near
Adjacent to
wormholes.
wormholes anyway.
So the against would be nothing. Okay, so before we start voting on this, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get an opportunity to play action cards because some action cards happen during the agenda phase. So we're going to go around, and there's going to be some action cards that say when an agenda is revealed as their triggering thing. And that's the first that we're going to check for. So Corinne is the speaker. So we start with Corinne. Do you have any action cards that you want to play that trigger when an agenda is revealed?
I do not.
Jill, do you have any?
I don't think so.
Okay. I do not have any. Oh, there's these little when and after things. If you don't have one, you can just like flip it over to indicate.
Another thing that for Jill to consider is that her quash faction ability triggers when.
Right. So your faction ability, Jill, says when an agenda is revealed, you may spend 1 token from your strategy pool to discard that agenda and reveal 1 agenda from the top of the deck, and we'd be voting on that one instead. So you really only want to do that if it's like, ugh, I don't like either of these outcomes. This would be terrible for me. I'm quashing this.
Okay.
So you don't want to do that?
Nah.
Okay, so you can just like flip over this little when thingy. Okay. Corinne, do you have any cards that trigger on after an agenda is revealed that you would like to play?
I do not.
Okay. Do you, Jill? No? Okay, I do. I'm going to play one just so that you can see how these work. This is called a rider. I have a technology rider that I'm going to play. And I think that people are going to want to vote against on this just because it doesn't really do anything. So I'm going to play my technology rider against. So the technology rider says, after an agenda is revealed, you cannot vote on this agenda. So I will not be able to vote now that I've played this. Predict aloud an outcome of this agenda. If your prediction is correct, research 1 technology. So I'm saying that I'm predicting this is going to go against. I'm saying I do not get to vote this round. And then if it does go against, I will get to research technology, which is cool. Neil, do you want to play an after card?
Nope.
Okay. And then technically we get to go all the way around again. So Corinne and Jill would get another chance to play afters if they wanted to, if my tech writer changed their mind. And then I would get to play another one if I wanted to as well, but I don't have any more, so I'm not going to play anymore. All right, so now voting begins. So Jill, you are to the left of the speaker, which means you get to vote first. You have 9 influence to vote with. And you can vote with however many of those as you want. You can choose to abstain if you really don't care how this goes. Remember that we're going to vote on 2 of these, so you maybe want to save some of your votes for the next one. But yeah, you can just let us know if you want to vote for or against and how many.
I'll just abstain.
Okay. So you're abstaining. I don't get to vote because of my rider. Neil, what do you think?
So can I ask a question very quickly? Because I forget, and it's been a while. Can you trade or make deals during the agenda phase?
Yeah, actually, it's a really important part of the agenda phase because what's happened here is that each of us has sent a representative to Mechatol Rex. So we are all able to trade with each other right now. And you can trade once per agenda with everybody.
Okay, so it is my turn. I'm going to do this just to make use of my unlocked commander, which is pretty cool. But typically I wouldn't do this. I would negotiate with Corinne and see what it is that she wants to do. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend all of my votes on 4. So all 11 votes on 4.
Okay.
And then using my commander, I'm going to spend 1 trade good to cast 2 additional votes. This way, because if I left it at 11, Corinne could vote all 12 and beat me. If I somehow got it up to 12 and she had 12, she could cast 12 votes, and then as speaker, she could break the tie. in whichever way she
Yeah,
wanted.
if there's ever a tie in votes, the speaker gets to choose.
Yeah.
So why are you
Anyways.
voting? You're voting for?
I want to close the wormholes to protect Mirage.
Oh, okay.
And it also prevents Kate from getting a technology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering,
Yeah.
if it was specifically to...
Well, no, it
prevent-
was specifically, well, otherwise I wouldn't care, but it's specifically because I found this fantastic planet right next to a wormhole.
Kiwi just said, Neil, no one can defeat you. Believe in yourself and your ghosts.
It's space chaos time.
Face
Yeah,
chaos
that's right.
time.
All right, cool. So
Off topic. Kate, do you remember the game Space Pirate Amazon Ninja Cat Girls? Because that seems appropriate.
I do remember that game. Yes, I do remember that game.
Oh my god.
Not my favorite game, but
Nope,
it
it's
has
terrible.
an interesting name.
It sure does.
All right, so Corinne, technically now you would get a chance to vote if you wish, but you could abstain.
I'm going
or-
to abstain
Yeah.
since Neil has done what I was going to ask if he wanted to coordinate to do.
Great.
Okay.
And he spent all of his
Yeah.
votes, so you don't have to spend any votes. You've got all the power for the next agenda. That's great. Okay, so because this goes for my technology rider just goes away. It doesn't resolve. But now we are not allowed to use wormholes. So I'm going to place this over here. This is a law that we've agreed on. Let's do the second agenda. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to flip this back over. All right. Minister of Sciences. Elect player. So right now, instead of voting for or against, we're going to be voting for one of us. The elected player gains this card. When the owner of this card resolves the primary or secondary ability of the technology strategy card, they do not need to spend resources to research technology. That's amazing for the first round of the game. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That is
I like that.
Yeah.
That's hot.
It is, especially for you. So I don't think that you should get it. All right. So, Corinne, do you have any when an agenda is revealed cards that you would like to play?
I do not.
Okay. Jill, do you? No, I don't either. Neil?
Okay, so I'm going to point this out to Jill. Despite the fact that I don't have any votes left, if I did have any riders, I could play them at this point, but I don't.
Okay. Well, it's not time for riders. It's not
Well,
the,
no,
what
it's
I
but
what
when,
I
yeah.
just did was a technology
Like
rider.
Ghost Riders?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Corinne, after an agenda is revealed, anything? And looks like Jill's
I do
no, and I don't either. Neil?
No.
All right. So let's vote for Minister of Sciences. It starts with Jill. So, yeah. I have 16 votes. Jill has 9. Corinne has 12. So we could all just kind of vote for each other and then I would get it. But the two of you could work together and vote for the same outcome and overcome my votes if you wanted to. But
Hello, Jill.
Hi.
I don't know that I have much that I can offer you, but I would really
You
like
do,
to be a
actually.
minister of law
I
sciences.
understand.
Yeah,
I
so-
understand.
We talked about promissory notes earlier. Each faction has a faction-specific promissory note, and the Jolnar one is called Research Agreement. So if Corinne gives you that, Jill, when Corinne researches technologies, you can cash in your research agreement to take one of those technologies without having to research it yourself.
Wow, that seems like a
So-
good deal.
It does sound like a good deal.
I think that the deal should be that she needs to give that to you like for the rest of the game.
More than once.
Yeah, not just
every
one,
turn,
not
yeah.
just once, because that's just one technology.
Yeah.
And now, remind me if I am indeed correct in remembering this. She, once I have given her my promissory note, does have the ability to use my promissory note in other
Transactions.
deals.
Yes,
right?
she-
Like,
yes.
You can sell it to
You could
Kate.
trade it
Yes,
away, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Once
Yep.
you have the promissory note, you can either use it when it's supposed to be used, or you can trade it away to somebody else if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am completely comfortable with the deal that both Kate and Neil have suggested, which is that I agree to return it to you upon its use, at least once.
Because you're not going to have to spend resources ever again to do technology.
Exactly.
This
So
is such a bad idea to give to Jilnar. But are you going to vote for
oh, it is.
So,
But it's such a good idea for Jill to get the research agreement for the rest of the game in order to make it happen.
This is also just for fun, so I think it's hilarious
Yeah.
to give this to Jilnar.
Yeah.
So would you like to commit all 9 of your votes to me and elect me as the Minister of Science, and I shall give you my technology promissory note, and we shall become...
for the rest of the game? Yep.
Yeah, we'll become the most advanced technologies this side of the beta wormhole.
That's right.
I am so on board with this. I just, before we do this, Kate, is there anything you want to offer me for not doing that? Jargon?
Sure. I will give you...
This is what I'm supposed to do, right? I'm supposed
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
Like a pro.
Yes. So, Jill, I do have a counter offer for you. I
Does
would...
it benefit my trees?
Sure.
I'm
I
listening.
would give you my support for the throne to vote for me. This gives you a victory point.
However,
My very first
However,
victory point?
however, it does mean that you would lose the victory point if you ever attacked me.
Well, I'm not a very attacky type of person,
Right?
right.
but getting free technology for the rest of the game, or whatever that deal is that I don't even really understand, does sound pretty good.
Yeah. Well, up to you. It's either...
Especially if you consider that you get the technology that I research, and I have already a lot of my prerequisites completed
Yes.
for advanced
And
technology.
Jilnar
I
actually gets to skip some prerequisites too. That's part of their ability.
Yeah. So you. Yeah, you can
I'm
skip
just-
way up the tree.
I'm looking at the chat here. Overthrow the controller of Mechatolrex in before Jill trades that promissory note to Neil for some such crazy trade. Okay, Corinne, I will put my votes to you.
Okay. So 9 votes for Jilnar.
I have delivered you my promissory note. It is in your play area.
Oh, thank you.
As
Oh
a-
my god, and there's a little bow on it.
As an act of pure defiance, I'm voting 16 for myself. Corinne. Wait, Corinne. I will give you my support for the throne to vote for me.
No, thank you.
Oh, okay.
You are a wonderful friend, but I would like to be the Minister of Science.
That was a good try, actually.
I
didn't
thought
consider
so.
that.
All right. So it goes for
Awesome.
Jilnar. So I'm going to give you a little copy of this so that you remember this is insanity. Control
It is.
copy. Okay. That's
It's almost-
cool.
I
Oh,
did
that's
like
just
your
kidding.
last ditch attempt, though, Kate.
I got to try.
Yeah.
No, thank
Yeah.
you.
I was very polite about it, though.
Yes, you were. Okay, so that is the first round of a game of Twilight Imperium, everybody. At this point, we would go back to the strategy phase and start picking our strategy cards. Corinne would start with that. And that's, if you remember way back when, that's where we started. And that is
That was a really eventful first round.
yeah,
Well,
well,
there were
we
ghosts and
yeah.
baby trees and some big agreements
kinda-
made. It was wild.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So there's, some little details of the game that we didn't really cover, like, some specific details about some of the anomalies. We didn't really talk about the leaders all that much, but, like, that's the gist of the game. And then this just keeps going on. These public objectives that we have up here are each worth 1 point, these orange ones. And so for the first, few rounds, we're revealing ones that are worth 1 point, but then once we get to these blue ones, we start revealing objectives that are worth 2 points each. And so, yeah, eventually, someone gets to 10 points pretty quickly. And
Yeah.
But, pretty quickly, as in, within, 12 hours.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
No,
once
so-
everyone's at 6 points, anyone can win it.
Yeah.
I've seen someone go from like what is like 5 points to being the winner in one.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Once,
If you have Imperial and you qualify for more than 1 2-point objective and you get the right secret objective, yeah, you can.
So there can
The stars really have to align.
Yeah, there can be some crazy swings, but normally, yeah, especially when you're playing this game in person and you have to manually like do it all, it can take a long time. I find it usually takes our play group, like I would say 10 hours is a good estimate for how long it takes us to play through a game from start to finish. But yeah, like I said, with Tabletop Simulator, it's kind of nice because, you know, we can just stop here and maybe we'll never pick this game up again if people aren't interested in continuing. But if we did, we just save it and come back and finish it up or play another round. Like, that's what Neil and I have, like a split session game that happens on Thursdays, and we just play one round every week. So it would just be like this. And if you think about it, it took us a lot longer to play this round than it would normally take because we had to completely explain the game to you. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope that you also got sort of an idea for like some of the backstory and theme around the different factions. I hope you kind of got this feel for like galactic conquest that the game...
Yeah, well, that's why I was drawing, because I was definitely inspired by it. And
I really do think, like, you know, my idea for our session was going to be, like, grabbing onto this notion of exploration that's in the current expansion and having that be sort of the basis of the scenario. So I really think that our cool little Mirage system that we discovered could serve really, really seriously. This could serve as like the location for like the destination for our little crew. And so I'm inspired by that, and I'm going to start working on sort of this story.
It's definitely the coolest location you could have possibly ever found in an alpha wormhole.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Buy a ghost ship.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it, guys. That's Twilight Imperium, and it's just one of my favorite board games, and I love it.
Thank you for refreshing my mind on all of the rules.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you for teaching me.
No problem. I hope that it was fun to watch everybody. There seems to be a little bit of chatter going on, more than some of our streams anyway, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's it. Does anybody any chat questions or comments? Thank you for sharing this game with us all. You're very welcome, little Kiwi. So who is winning? Right now it's tied. It's tied between me and Neil.
Surprising nobody.
Yeah. Well, and like, listen, me winning this game,
really.
Me being in the lead right now is an artifact of me specifically choosing Winnu so that I could get to Mechatol Rex, so that we could do that little agenda phase, so that I could, show you what that's like. So, and I don't know if this would have been my play if I was seriously playing a game, because like all my stuff is very weakly defended now, but
yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I would be playing with the narrative of it, so I would never attack anybody because I'm a peaceful
right.
nation.
Well, however, the extra...
My baby trees are, taking root in different planets, and I'm cultivating...
Oh, Jill, there's like a plant faction.
There is an actual plant faction called the Arborec.
They're called the Arborec.
Awesome.
Yeah.
These turtle trees.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, role playing, like there's a lot to hook onto for like if you want to role play your faction.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense what you're saying for the extra.
Yeah.
Jill might befriend the ghosts, Kiwi says. Jill will befriend the ghosts, Kevin says.
I know, I'm coming for you, ghosts. I hope you like cookies and like different fruit that grow on my infantries.
My infantries.
Because
So
I
you
get
just
the baby
have
tree thing now.
a whole thing of groups?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like that was what we found on that planet. That made us the mech. They were like these tree people, and we got along really well. So now I'm letting all my turtle people retire, and we're just kind of running with the infantries.
Infantries, my God.
Infantries.
It just got that.
For real.
I love it.
Uh,
Okay, well, I think that's it for the stream tonight then, but I really, really enjoyed this stream, and I want to thank you guys for playing with me, and Jill, thank you for letting us teach you the game, and I'm looking so forward to just, like, continuing to work on the RPG scenario. Yeah, so it's going to be so
I'm
fun.
pumped.
Yay! Alright.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Neil
you.
and Corinne, for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
It was so nice of you to have me.
Yeah!
Very fun.
All right. Well, good
All right.
night, stream. We love you. We'll see you again soon. Where is
Yes.
my...
Good night.
Thanks for watching. Okay, goodbye.
We love you from College of Lore.
Oh, yeah.